Today we're going to learn about unteachable cases and impossible cases. So smash the YouTube like algorithm for the algorithms like YouTube. Boom. All right, let's get right to it. Why the fuck are these people so fucked up? I'm going to explain to you because there's a lot of people that are impossible cases and unteachable cases, but you never really figure out why. I'm going to break it down for you for the first time in history how their brain works. So imagine if you are a hard case, impossible case, or you can't learn shit. Pay attention to this video. John Elite, the world's best Daygame coach. They say they're the most optimized system, but guess what? 2 fucking late testimonials is not optimized. So the first thing is that their brain is like a dual core processor. Dual core. So if I'm sending you this video, it's probably because I think your brain is like a fucking dual core. So this is like a CPU over here. So it's an Intel. Dual core. Slow as fuck. So this is what they call 2 cores, in case you don't know what dual is. So how do the instructions work? For example, they're learning social skills. And the social skills will have a flow drill. This is usually 3 steps. One's the question here, one's the comment, one is like other things that I don't want to get into unless it's for my students. However, because there are 3 steps right here, 1, 2, and 3, what happens to their brains is that it's the bottleneck. So if there's 3 steps, this is what they call bottleneck. Bottleneck or throttling. So if they run more than your computer can handle, their brain fucking shuts down. Hey, what's up, guys? So, hey, John, do you attract how do you pick up and track a blonde coworker? Use Instagram lifestyle, add her to it, hang out with friends, and try to pull her home because you're Middle Eastern, I know. And you try to do it indirectly, and then you kind of escalate from there, problem solve. Okay, so next question is, now that is dual core, and they cannot learn the social skills drill. So they're stuck. That's why they're stuck. That means none of the impossible cases and unteachable cases can really do it, because when we think about it, maybe a rabbit over here, this is a good example, okay? Rabbit. Okay, it's not the best rabbit, like something like this, right? Like a rabbit, it goes fast. And hard cases are more like turtles, so they're like this, right? Turtle. And then they're like snails over here, this snail pace. And this is like unteachable cases and impossible cases. So this is a hard case right here, and this is easy case. And this is unteachable. So why is it slower? It's because it's throttled. So for example, when I try to teach something, like how to do a Daygame stop, maybe you got her attention here. You do this just to get her attention. And as she's walking towards you, which takes a while, you take a step forward and you point. And you say, excuse me, I was just going that direction. And as you're 45 degrees, you start talking with her. So that's like 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4, and talk. But you say to yourself, well, that's easy because that's a quad core. So for somewhere like here, right, it's like a quad core processor, 4 processor, quad core. And they cannot run the instructions. As soon as they tax their brain, it becomes like a quad core processor. So what kind of processor is a Pentium dual core? It's some old ass shit. So what do I suggest in the future? Because I'm going to create solutions for unteachable cases. I've already gotten so many impossible cases laid for 2021. I'm going to post 10 more late testimonials. Plus, maybe I should post some of the older ones. I can probably post like another 100 in a row if I really wanted to. Maybe I should. Screenshot testimonials, all this stuff. I got endless testimonials. And my students have more fucking receipts in, sex in their fucking screenshots, WhatsApp. Then the other coaches that said, "Oh, it's all Paul Winfield, Paul," with two fucking lay testimonials, and they're saying their system is so complete. Sales is supposed to open and close like a same day lay. So in case that they're trying to retarget her, it's kind of like you trying to close a deal in sales and you fucked up. When you fuck up, now it's like you gotta start emailing them over and over until they respond. Put them in the flow chart where 95% of their students are white that gets results. But when you're teaching the snail pace, you gotta break it down to one core. So for example, hypothetically speaking, let's say I wanted to teach a student how to work on their tonality. Their tonality is gonna be very, very fucked. Hey, do we need audio infields of us trying to do pickup for the Skype call when we get the bundle? Well, first of all, normally that'll cost you $300 to analyze the infields. I'm not doing it for you. So, I mean, I can analyze 10 minutes at most, but not fucking like hours. They pay $300 just to get that. And they usually get laid and they pull and they get laid and it's like shit. And they become superstars. So here's a book, okay? For example, I just found this book right here. From Homeless to Billionaire. This guy made $2 billion. Seriously, this fucking guy made $2 billion. He went to Thailand, did some manifestation shit. I think it's Middle Eastern. And all of a sudden, he lost all his money and everything. And somehow somebody sent him a book, The Secret, and he tried to prove it wrong. And what happened was he made a lot of money. So I'm just going to pick a random chapter because he's like, prove me wrong. Have ideas so massive, others get uncomfortable. So how you practice, for example, to be one core, because these guys only run dual core. When they try to do the flow drill, which has 3 cores, what happens is the brain shuts down. They bottleneck, just like a CPU of a dual core. So if they only work on their tonality, and a lot of the students are unteachable cases, when they slow down, they sound like this. They're angry like Satan. Like, whoa, calm down, dude. Excuse me. I'm looking for a place called Za. It's like, holy shit, calm the fuck down. And they go fast and they're happy. Excuse me, I'm looking for a place called Za. It's like, holy shit, that sounds very, very beta. So this is what I talked about in the last video called no stakes practice. So if they were just working on one skill, what they'll do is right here, thinking bigger. And this is how they talk like for the unteachable cases. They bunch all the words together. So even if they're going slow, they're like, thinking bigger and actualize the concepts are not skills that we are born with. They're required. They sound like Charisma King with absolutely no fucking, the beta shit. Can I ask, what is a Skype coaching and what consists of to get the bundle? And will we need all those Skype sessions? You don't have to use all the Skype sessions. Most people only use like one or something. Sometimes people that are know-it-alls don't even use a single Skype. They're fucking know-it-alls, low self-esteem, high ego, fucking delusional know-it-alls. The non-delusional people should use at least one Skype because they're thinking, well, we're all locked down, so we can't use the Skype. But United States, some of you have been vaccinated. But in Canada, nobody's been vaccinated. We're all dying here. India is much worse. So use one of the Skype, sacrifice the pawn in the chess game. So that way you know what your mistakes are. And then work on the mistakes and come back to the second Skype. That's why I recommend for all of you. Use your fucking Skypes, you know-it-alls. The know-it-alls never use their Skypes. Unless you really want to get elite access afterwards, and I can help you on a daily basis, 2 questions answered. Unless you're doing that, use your fucking Skypes, guys. I'll say this again. People like it when I talk close. Use your fucking Skypes, you fucking know-it-all. You think you know everything, right? You guys just fucking use your first Skype. Stop being a cunt. Right? Because you don't use your Skypes, right? You fucking know-it-alls. You're like, I look at your course, like, hey, Elon Musk, right? I know exactly what you teach. You don't even fucking understand things like I do. Okay, so if they're working on one core, that means they're only working on the tonality. They're trying to get their speed consistent. So it'll sound like, think bigger and actualizing concepts are not a skill that we are born with. They require exercise. So they're almost going like 50 miles per hour. See, I could do it on the first take. For a lot of them, no problem. So for a lot of them, they're like thinking bigger and actualizing concepts and skills that we're born with that require exercise. And they're so happy. They send me that on elite access. And they nearly burn my brain out because they throttle, just like a dual core. Because they had to practice a social skills flow drill with 3 pieces to it. Their brain shuts down. So what happens is they go really fast. So and they're like, wrong. Can you hear it? And they're like, I can't hear it. Then I make them do this self-esteem exercises. That means they listen to subliminal messages of self-esteem for 5 hours a day for 7 days a week. And then they can hear it. It's like a layer peeling the onions. And they're like, holy shit, I can hear the mistakes, John. I'm going too fast. I sound angry. And it's like, dude, I've been trying to tell you that all along. And they're like, holy shit, that's right. I didn't know that. I thought you're yelling at me for no motherfucking reason. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. You guys don't really know what you don't know because you're delusional, right? It's like this low self-esteem. If you don't do this sort of thing, it's not like a cure, it's like a ventilator, right? Just to have your self-esteem high enough that, it's like a peeling onions. And when you miss a day, you kind of unpeeling like 2 layers back and getting delusional again. That's why you guys are RSD victims. John, stop getting so near the fucking camera. Asians are cute. Thanks. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if you read it, like, so for them, they're going to be practicing, but to make it one core instead of many cores, what you want to do, instead of thinking bigger and actualizing concepts, because now they're only working on the no stakes practice. They're only working on that one skill. So that means they have to get the speed to 50 miles per hour consistently. So they'll be like thinking bigger and actualizing concepts, and it's still going too fast. And they try again. You see that? Because they only work on that one skill, that one core, that one CPU core. Thinking bigger and actualizing concepts are not skills we're born with. So they're a little bit slower, but you can go slower. Women likes it when you talk slower because it's evolutionary psychology. The alpha male does not need to talk fast, because the reason why they're talking fast is because they're expecting to be interrupted. So now they keep working on a skill and they slow down and they realize the alpha male is going to talk. Give it a thumbs up, okay? Smash the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. I don't have any of your programs. Do you recommend you start? I recommend you start with a bundle, and I would start with Elite 30 first. That means when you are part of the bundle, I would yell at you if you went to the playbook, because everyone loves more game. They're always like, more game, John, more game. I want to learn game, because they're autistic and they have no social skills, so they love game. It's always like game, John. And trust me, on Elite Access, I have taught so many students, and so far, do you help white people? Dude, I have so many white testimonials. My next Kaizen student, who's going to be the next superstar, he's saving up for the course. He's white. He's a good-looking, tall white guy. Looks like Paul Janka. And I'm going to turn him into the next superstar, next to a London student. Look at one of my students. He's white. He's from London, and he can barely even get laid. Autistic as shit. But however, I got him laid, and he stopped listening to the other Caucasian dating coaches. Afterwards, he started to listen to me. He got Elite 30, and he got his first lay with a same-day lay with a Brazilian. But he was not consistent, so he bought his Skype for in-field analysis. He worked on the social skills flow drill. This is where I got the idea from. Lots of new shit being invented for 2021. So that's why the other students are doing it. It took him 2 weeks of me yelling at him like Gordon Ramsay. And after that, he got laid right away. He just first approach, instant date, second one, instant date, third one, and then pull and lay. So there's tons of white students. John Elite does not discriminate. I'd rather have more white students, because once you're part of the John Elite family, you are treated like family. I don't give a fuck if you're white. Once you're part of the in tribe, you're cool with me. So I do take care of the white students, especially the other guy in high school. He almost got kidnapped. I saved his life. Lots of people, I saved their life. Even this Middle Eastern student recently who got stabbed 3 times, so I didn't go through his chest. I told him not to fuck this model, and he listened to that. They came after him. But you'll see all the testimonials. I'm going to flood YouTube with it, because people... All right, so now they're working on slowing down to that one core processor. I'm from Eastern Europe. It's a lot harder. I was in Eastern Europe. I'm pretty sure it's not. Privet. Здравствуйте. Are you from that part of Europe? Do you speak Ruski? Меня зовут John Elite. So, having said that, okay. Извините. Okay, let's get back to it. So, now they have to slow the fuck down. Think bigger in actualizing concepts are not a skill that we are born with. They require exercise. One of the keys to thinking, yeah, spasiba, большое spasiba, beat it, bean. One of the keys to thinking bigger is to incorporate as many success principles as possible as you dream up your inspired ideas. Now it's starting to sound like it's the right speed, and it's a lot more. Oh, I've been to Poland before. I was daygaming in Warsaw, so that's a good place to be, Poland. So now that they keep working at it, the problem with their processor is that it's always throttled. As soon as they try to do more to one step, so now they got the speed down. So the concept is, I always tell them that whenever they grab the sword, this is not a sword, and they grab the shield. Let's say this is a shield, okay? Right over here. So they grab the sword, they'll drop the shield. And they're like, fuck. They grab the shield, and they'll drop the armor, okay? So they'll drop the armor, and then afterwards, they pick up the armor, right? They put it back on. That means they're focusing on one skill, and they drop the fucking sword. And they're like, John, I can't seem to get anything down. It doesn't stick. It's like, whoa, what's going on? It doesn't stick because they're not really getting it, because they're a dual core processor. That's how the brain works. If you guys are understanding this, give it a thumbs up, because nobody's ever talked about stuff like this before. So I talk about being more teachable and more changeable, and why it's so important to be teachable and changeable. But as soon as they try to be more teachable and changeable, they can't do it, because imagine this is the RAM chips, okay? This is the dual core. Here's a RAM. So these are sticks of RAM. These are like old school RAM. These are so fucking slow. These are like Pentium 1 RAM, okay? RAM sticks, RAM. So for the random access memory, it's like 256 MB. So what happens is really old school stuff that works with the Pentium. So RAM is just the memory that when you're learning something and you're being taught something, how much can you retain with you? So for their brains, their RAM is so limited that even if they try to be more teachable, they're not going to be more changeable, because as soon as they do three things, they're fucked. And even when they're trying to do a stop, they walk past her like 4 meters, they look at her, and then for 2 seconds, they have to turn and point stop and start talking with her at 45 degrees. Okay? Simple. It's like second nature. I could do it every single time. Blah, blah, blah. Well, every single time is perfect. You see that? I don't even have to think about it. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. So in the very first try, I get it. So I'm more like a hare. For them, you know how many tries does it take for them to do this? This is how I can tell a person if they're a hard case and possible case. How many tries do you think it takes? And this is what's going to freak you out. In the boot camps, for the rabbit, the easy case, it takes about exactly 5 fucking tries. So if they're learning this stop, right, they'll do it in 5 tries. How many times does a hard case take? Roughly more or less around 40 tries. You're like, what the fuck? 40 tries for this. How many does it impossible unteachable case take? Oh my God. 150 fucking tries. They'll take the whole fucking day of the boot camp just to learn this stop. So if the person can't do it, either they're Asperger's or autistic, they can't do this because they're using more than fucking 2 cores. This move is almost like walking past her. That's 1. This is 2 seconds. That's 2 cores. 45 degree. That's 3 cores. Pointing, blah, blah, and talking. That's 5 cores. It's almost like a 6-core processor move, or 5 or 6. So what happens is they get stuck. That's why it takes 150 motherfucking times to do something as simple as that. You're like, oh my God, what kind of nightmare is it teaching these people? And I was teaching like so many of these people from John Elite Access. So I got rid of their option to listen to their infield. They can only do it twice a week now. It was burning me out. 150 motherfucking times. Holy fucking shit. Fucking smash. for the algorithm, YouTube, like button, whatever the fuck. Okay, you see my point here. So the RAM is so limited, they can't learn shit. But let's talk about an Asperger guy. So this is what they call to the CPU an external hard drive. Okay, maybe it's not the best way, but okay, maybe this is one of those external hard drives. Imagine it's a very slow ass 5,400 RPM, the slowest hard drives in the world. Okay, and this is like 500 megabytes or gigabytes, or maybe like just I don't know 1 gigabyte. This is the Asperger guy. He spends close to 10 years in university filling out this fucking hard drive in their engineering fucking course or medical course. I have lots of engineers, electrical engineers. I have like fucking engineers, IT tech engineers, so many fucking logical people. Then I got doctors who are taking my courses. And then we have essential workers, but they all have like Asperger's. That means it's very slow to fill up this hard drive, but it takes them 10 years because it's hard to move all this information and copy into the fucking mind because of low fucking RAM. Is this making some sense, guys? You're like, well, I never thought of that. That's right. So what happens to the guys who are autistic? They're emotional RSD victims. These are the offended Asians. They're the one who hates Johnny Lee. It's like, no, we got to dress whatever way we want. We cannot dress in such a way, you know, because we need to find our own style. And the people that finds their own style, I saw a guy in London and he almost got stabbed. And he had this fucking bowl cut wearing fucking Asian looking clothing. And this black dude is trying to stab him to death. And they caught it on YouTube. Don't be whitewashed. Fit into the tribe. But my point is, the Aspergers have this, but if you unhook this is what an autistic person is. Because now the autistic person is emotional. They overheat a lot. Their vagina hurts. Their vagina hurts so fucking much. Oh my God. Oh my God. Teaching these people is an absolute fucking nightmare. That's why my thumbnail was like this. So now the whole system's overheated. Their dual core is very slow. So they can only learn one thing at a time. So if they wanted to learn this flow drill, they might only work on the one piece over and over. And then maybe when they get better, they can work on step 1 and step number 2. And then they have to do this over and over until this becomes one step. Does that make sense? Now, this is one step. That means they practice for a whole month. This becomes automatic. So this becomes the next step. Does that make sense? Step, step, step. Now it's 2 steps. They can only learn 2 steps. It's impossible to learn 3. This is why they love game. Okay? And I'm going to be honest with you. This is why you motherfuckers love game, because it's a game, John. I want more game because you know, the reason why you're so obsessed with game and not social skills is my students couldn't even fucking learn social skills. I failed like fucking 85% of them, and only like 15% have made it in elite access. The rest of you have fucking failed. That's the truth. That's why you love game, because game is just tactics. It's a gamified autistic version of social skills. This is why you love more game, game tactics. Elite 30 never has to be updated, because Elite 30 is social skills and social calibrations. It never expires. Even Elite Playbook fucking works during COVID-19. Their courses do not work, but you can't wait for more game because you love to be bottlenecked. You love to be the dual core motherfuckers. You love the dual core. You love to overheat. And if you're not Asperger's and you have some special skills, and this is the thing. When I said that their brain in the middle has something called a corpus calcium or whatever the fuck it's called, it is a weak interconnection signal. It's almost like this wire is very fucking weak. It's so weak. So therefore the information does not transfer into the brain, into their, you know, actual memory, working memory. They're always stuck all the time. So that's how their thinking is like a computer. But we can go beyond just that, because there are 2 types of GPU. This is the game processor. The game processor. So one is called NVIDIA. So for my new laptop, I have an NVIDIA processor. It's a RTX 3060. So it's pretty powerful. NVIDIA. The other team is called AMD. So this is team red and this is team green. So imagine that you have to install a driver. So if this is a video card that can output their game, okay, let's just say you plug this into your computer, okay? Guess what happens? you need to put a driver so you can connect it to your computer. So that's when you're installing the game. But what kind of people are like AMD? That's the thing you don't understand. This is what I'm trying to tell you. People at AMD are like the fucking emotional, snowflake cunts that you see from RSD victims. They're so emotional and they're delusional as fuck. They're so delusional. They don't learn shit. And that's the problem. They don't learn shit at all. So they're so delusional. That's Team Red. This is what the dating coaches know how to game, because they think that, right? They're thinking like, if that guy's delusional, he's emotional, do not offend him so he can extract his money, right? Put him in a boot camp. Even though I can teach you online and still get you laid. He's like, let's get them boot camp. That's $5,000 in the bank right there, baby. $5,000. Look at all these heads, right? 5, 10, 15, 20. Money, ka-ching, ka-ching. I don't need to make money like that. I can teach you online and still get you laid. If you need a boot camp, then you get a boot camp. But that's how they see it. Do not offend Team Red. So Team Green is different. Team Green's more of like a psychopath. This one is more of a socio. So how does it work? The other guys is like a type A cluster and type B. So for type A clusters, their thinking pattern is number one. So this is A. They're more like the sociopath. Most PUAs are kind of fucked up. Let's just be real here. That's the DNA of the pickup artist. They're the socio. Number two, when it comes to autism or Asperger's, these guys are more autistic. So they're having this extra sensory perception. They just, oh, my cunt hurts, right? I'm emotional. Everything hurts. They get emotional. And for them, they're more of the ADHD. So ADHD is more, this is the hardware for their GPU. They're always never focused. And lastly, they're delusional. So in the old days, in evolutionary psychology, something like this would have been helpful. Let me ask you a question. Let me tell you the truth. Back in the old days, there was no different ethnicities, right? We were all like the same fucking caveman looking people. And that's the thing that you don't fucking understand. We all used to be tall, we used to be strong, and we all roughly had the same SMV. It's not like one's better than the other. So therefore, something like this is good, because when you're ADHD and lazy, you can conserve your energy for the hunt. And therefore, that's very good. You got muscles, you can attract women like that. And there's no different race, there's no hierarchy, there's none of that shit. So it's really just, in evolutionary psychology, it doesn't matter if you're kind of sociopathic and delusional, because if you're good at hunting, then guess what? You always go in an upward spiral. Don't you guys get it? Give it a thumbs up if you guys are getting it. So this cluster was once actually a good trait. You're like, what the fuck? But they can infiltrate tribes until they start acting very sociopathic, start killing people and backstabbing people. Then they get outed from the tribe. But they have a huge evolutionary advantage. The second type is the type 2, or type B, that Team Green. This is the kind of game style I teach them. So they are taught differently. I can't teach them both the same. So Team Green is more of the psychopath. These guys are not delusional at all. So they're not delusional. But for them, they're more of the Asperger's. They're not super emotional. They're like the Elon Musk, like I'm like Elon Musk, and yeah, I speak monotone and no facial expressions, and yeah, they're like that. They're like the Elon Musk. So psychopath, and psycho does not mean like psycho killer. It just means a person without empathy. But they're not delusional. These guys like to wear a mask. These are RSD victims. These are more of the anti-RSD. They're psychopath, they're Asperger's, and they're more of the OCD type. I've noticed that they have to keep everything, maybe not all the time, but they're not so ADHD. They're not delusional. So they're like a subtype B for the GPU. So most of the students that are unteachable cases are usually type A, the socio, not the psycho. All right, so now you're starting to see this is like a computer. That's how they think. So let's continue. Why are people dropping off? Did I say the word psychopath and scare the shell of you guys? Or maybe this is just hitting too close to home. But let's continue. All right. So I wrote in a blog post, okay? I wrote 10 traits that I've noticed. So the first one is the corpus callosum, part of the brain is the middle interconnection signal is weak. They can only manage 3 steps. They can only focus on one thing at a time, and they drop the sword, just like I talked about earlier. They pick up the sword, they drop the shield. They drop the shield when they try to pick up their armor, and it just repeats itself. They never could get anything to stick. And if you yell at them and encourage them, it's the same issue. They can't learn fast. They will resist due to low self-esteem, and nothing clicks. Their entire lives is ruined if they're autistic and Asperger's. That's really awful. So the only thing to fix it for solutions is do it right the first time. So for them, what happens is that imagine that you have to learn how to shoot a gun, for example, okay? Hypothetically speaking. Let's see if I have one here. Okay, I'm not going to show you that. We'll just use his hand, okay? Just hypothetically, let's just say this is a gun, and they had to learn how to shoot it. They had to learn how to shoot it. So you teach them the grip like this, hold it like this, aim it down like that, have exactly like this, do this, that. And you know what happens when they do the gun? They'll do it their way. They'll go switch right back to their old fucking stance. And then from here, they're going to slowly, eventually, after 150 times, get to where you should be doing it. But what happens is because they couldn't fucking adapt, they're know-it-alls. They take so many takes, they drill it down, and they improve it 1% at a time because they're like a dual core. Their brain cannot process 6 different steps like a 6-core processor. They can't do it. Or 8-core processor, or 16-core. They can't fucking do it. That's too many steps. So what happens is they get flustered, and they keep practicing over and over as they send me the take when they practice on Elite Access over and over, and they fuck it up. They're only improving very, very slightly at a snail pace. So I tell them to get it right the first time. If you are in the army and you had to point like a rifle or something, they'll teach you exactly how to hold it, where to look down the sight. If you're doing it wrong or something, you're doing like something like this and holding it like that, they'll grab your hand and they'll say, move it under here, put your hands here, and they'll push your head here, move it here, down this way. They'll correct you. So in the army, you have to get it right first. Just like you're learning how to throw a right punch. The knuckles have to be down, your feet have to turn, the body has to turn, and then you got to punch it down. You got to hit the first 2 knuckles, right? Boom. And back here, right? They have to correct you first. So you got to get right the first time. And that's the problem because they're picking up the armor. That means they're focusing, okay, I'm going to point it forward and look down the sights. That's all they focus on. And guess what happens? The shield, it drops. They're like, fuck, you just made a mistake again. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, John. I thought you told me. This is what they say. I thought you told me I should be focusing on aiming down the sight by looking like that. You did, but you dropped the fucking shield. So now they focus on the shield. Okay, now the grip has to be corrected. Okay? But guess what happens? They drop the fucking armor. It falls off. Right? The clothing. Now they put it back on. Okay, now it's back. They go in this fucking endless loop. They don't learn shit. They don't fucking learn shit. And this is the solution. One core, like working on that one skill. Maybe for them, that one skill is just pointing the gun correctly all at one take and just stay there for a fucking 10 minutes. That's all, correctly, until the brain sort of assimilates it. Maybe for 1 fucking hour. Don't worry about doing all this reloading and all this shit. Just learn the very one fucking core version of it. Just like when you're learning how to read from a book, just to work on the speed. Does that make sense? Just that one core. They can't do more than one core. So they have dragged this exercise past 3 months for social skills. A lot of these unteachable cases students, I failed like over 85% of them. I just tell them, you guys are going to fucking die. But this is why I'm trying to create a group B. Group A already got laid. They're like the Navy SEALs. They're the strongest swimmers. They got laid. Group B is like the misfits, the unteachable cases. But I'm trying to create a group B that can still get laid by using that one core processor. And then create a group C, which is not going to get laid. They can just get fucking, evolutionary psychology can take them. And that's the problem. I'll tell you why they're fucked up. Because they're such know-it-alls. So the second thing is that when they slow down, as I said earlier, they all sound bitchy. When they go fast, they sound super happy. So I have no idea by them speaking slower, they sound like this. They want to sound like they want to kill somebody or somebody just ran over their cat. and they sound upset like shit. And some of these guys are virgins. Ugh. Okay, so they vent. So they vent all their anger for an hour and just like, oh, motherfucking, this pissed me off. And afterwards, they feel better. But however, when they don't sound as angry, they sound depressed. So at the end of the sentence, okay, get this, okay, for these unteachable cases, they all have fucked up tonalities. So if this was like your speech, right, and this is your tonality right here at the very end. So what happens at the very end? You wouldn't believe it. For them, there's a sigh. It's kind of like they sound depressed. Kind of like, you know what's great? It's the great thing that happened to me. Sigh. Like that. You know what else is great? Blah, 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 blah. They trail down. You know what else is great? They sound angry and then they trail down. Blah, 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 blah. I said, what the fuck? Why do you sound like that? Learn how to talk normally. Like, excuse me, I was looking for a place called Zara. Do you know where I can find it? Oh, by the way, I've noticed something else about you right now. I've noticed that you have this X plus Y. Are you Z? By the way, I know we should be social distancing. I know there's this variant thing that's going around, but don't worry, I don't have it. I'm healthy. They can't fucking do that. It'll sound like, excuse me real quick. I have a question. I was like, whoa, calm down. And it's like, can you hear your mistake? And you know what they tell me? John, I cannot hear the mistake. What's wrong with it? Did I speak too fast? Like, no, you sound like you fucking like angry and shit. And they're like, really? I don't sound angry. That's why I talk like maybe I have a rough voice. It's like, motherfucker. So I make them do the fucking self-esteem exercise to raise it so their self-esteem goes up and their ego goes down. So the RSD victims always trying to ego trip. By lowering down their ego, now they're like, John, I can't believe I'm hearing all the mistakes. I couldn't hear it before. And they're like, oh my God, you were right, John. You're not just yelling at us for no reason at all. So yeah, let's continue. So they have layered emotions, and it takes something, depression, yeah. Otherwise, normally it would sound beta. Okay, sure. And sometimes venting helps, okay? So the solution is twofold. Number one, they take a supplement for depression so they don't sound as angry. And number two, they vent the anger. So that's a solution. So none of them can hear their mistakes. This is the third thing. Not a single one of them can hear their mistakes. So before, they can't perceive their own mistakes. After the self-esteem exercises, 5 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're like, whoa, they have to listen to subliminal message for fucking 7 days a week? Yes, you motherfucker. You have to do it 7 days. This is not a cure. You can't fix your low fucking self-esteem because competence equals confidence. Because you got no fucking competence in your fucking life. That's why you're fucking like low self-esteem. That's why you love to ego trip with this RSD shit. Because you have no fucking self-esteem. And this is why you suck at it and you can't stop spam approaching without any fucking skills because, you know, you're an RSD victim. So that's what happens to them. So they raise their self-esteem to lower the ego so they can see the mistakes and make adjustments in Daygame. Otherwise, they'll be eating every fucking punch from the women. Right? Every single punch, every rejection. So they get off the line. And they call it a numbers game. It's like 10%. Blah, blah, blah. Fucking 2 late testimonials from students. Not a single student has shown a single bit of proof. Tinder testimonials do not count as lay counts because it's like ordering food from a fucking food app. That's so fucking stupid. It's like, oh yeah, but without Tinder, my lay is like 400. Well, guys, your fucking lay count, you dumb fucking idiot. It's like, congratulations. No, but students got laid from Tinder. That doesn't fucking count. It's like pictures in a food app. Pictures in a food app. And certain ethnicities, if 95% of their students that got laid from Tinder and got, like, I don't know, 100 lays or whatever, they're all white. 95%. White is right. It just proves race matters, you dumb fucking idiot. That doesn't even count. And they're like, oh yeah, you pull infield, right? You can fucking pull in. It's like Brad's kiss. You can do as many pull infields and nothing happens in it. No one gives a shit. If you were to point cameras at me, and I don't have to get the lay. I just have to get the pull. You know how many fucking pull infields I can get in one day? If there's no pressure, I just have to pull. I can get like 4 a day, 2 to 4, averagely 3. And within like 3 months, I'll have over 100 fucking pull infields. But if they're same day lay infields, that's a different thing. Because they have no proof from beginning to end because they're autistic. And the best they can do is walk a person and the token Asian walk a student home. And of course, they're like, oh, I got more token Asians. Well, fucking show it. Otherwise, I don't know it. Are you talking about Leia? Yeah, I am. So that's what I'm saying. I hear a lot of stupid stuff like, oh, yeah, my system is the most optimized. You know, it's like Jordan Belfort. It's from beginning to end. No, you dumb motherfucker. If you didn't close the deal in the same day late, you are basically texting her, retargeting her. It's kind of like I fucked up in a sales call, so I have to email him over and over until that person comes back on the sales call, and then maybe you can close the deal. So it's not a complete system like keeping her on the line. My students keep her on the line. And because they're delusional, they can't keep her on the line because their ego is high, their low self-esteem is low, and they're autistic. That's why they cannot read her fucking facial expressions. They cannot listen to the voice. They can't look at their body language when she's about to walk away. Let that sink in. They can't fucking perceive that. So therefore, they're just doing all these tactics, these game tactics. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to sexualize it and then do a fucking dancing with her and say nice ass. And then over here, I'm going to say this is the most optimized. What the fuck are you talking optimized? I have 238 times more late poll testimonials in Daygame for the students. How is that optimized? Good, better, and best. I hear too much. I hear he doesn't teach much on his course. A lot of students. Yeah, who gives a fuck? It's like stupid shit. I've heard some dumb shit in my time. It's like, oh yeah, the students have to like open to poll, right? Well, how about open the poll and fucking lay? Because I'm posting my students getting laid, and I got videos. I got tons of videos of students getting laid. My students have more receipts than them. But that's the problem. Let's continue about this topic. Is that a lot of you, that's why you love game, because your delusions. And for the students, it's almost like a virtual reality goggles. So basically what happens with a computer, everything's fucked. Because what happens to all this stuff, the hard drives, everything, the programs, the course, is because they have viruses in their brain. Because if you don't operate by raising the self-esteem, it's almost like a malware scan and a spyware scan. Viruses and malware. So the students, when they slowly move up the self-esteem and lower their fucking ego, they're basically scrubbing the malware from their system. But then it always accumulates again because they have low self-esteem and they can't learn the skills. So they love game. You see that? It's a downward fucking spiral. It's a downward fucking spiral. And I'm just telling you how it is. It's just like, I always told you the fucking truth. And these days, now their coaches are admitting that height does matter. Well, you should have told that to the fucking students like fucking years ago. John was right. Half truth pill. Fucking truth pill or real pill my fucking ass. Oh, now you finally admit that John's right about the height. Because people asked. People want to know. Of course height fucking matters. Wear some heelless and elevator shoes, you dumb fuck. I've been saying it for years. Now it's kind of like, oh shit, John was telling you guys the truth about everything. Yeah, I'm telling you even more that you guys don't know. Should have listened in the first place. All right. They all talk super fast due to cortisol. They cannot change it. So what's creating the super fast speed in their voice besides being a low-level beta male in the tribe? It's very simple because they expect to be interrupted. And the cortisol is also another thing that overheats. So cortisol is like heat. So what exactly is cortisol? Cortisol equals overheat. Overheated. So all the computer parts overheats. Cortisol is designed in evolutionary psychology to give you 3 reactions. Number 1, you see a saber-toothed tiger. What do? I'm going to fucking kill this motherfucking thing to protect your family. So fight. What's number 2? You freeze up. You fucking freeze up and you curl in like this. So that way your silhouette, right? You can see the black clothing, right? The silhouette becomes smaller. So the animal might not see you if they only see black and white. So you freeze up, right? They fucking like, oh shit, my cunt hurts. They freeze up. And number 3, they run away. That's fight, flight, and freeze. But every time you go through all this accumulated stress, what happens is it starts to overheat the overall system. So for them, when they're trying to learn that one skill through maybe 3 parts, they overheat like a Gatling gun. Remember in Terminator 2 when Arnold had this big gun, is like, and he's just shooting at all the fucking cars like a machine gun, like a Gatling gun. It overheats, it turns red. So what happens is the more they try with the overheating of their system, the cortisol, the more their brain gets overheated and they shut down. They start to get more emotional. They become more like type A. Are you guys getting this? It's like for some of you, it's like the first fucking time in your life you're actually understanding this shit, right? About how your brain really works in Daygame. There's no spinning, there's no like anything. This is exactly how you guys are, 100%. All right. So let's continue. So when they go slower, it's still too fast because cortisol, Gatling gun. Yeah, I did talk about that. Solution, take ashwagandha. So my students who are autistic, type A especially, they all take ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is a supplementation. I think it's an Indian herb. So basically what it does is it reduces cortisol. You can reduce cortisol from 13% to 32%, depending on how long you take it. You can look at the scientific studies. And there's different types of ashwagandhas. There's KMS or something 66 or KM 66, whatever the fuck it's called, and sensorially or something it's called. So these things will be field tested with the students in the future, but just normal ashwagandha. I won't say the dosage. I might put it in my new free sampler course called Pandemic. I forgot what's it called. Something First Steps. Pandemic Daygame or something, First Steps. I'll release it soon for free. It's all free, guys, because I want to help you. You guys need another sampler course? Fine with me. I don't give a fuck, right? I don't have to make new courses because my old courses fucking works. So if my old courses work, why would I need to release a new course? More game tactics? My game tactics already worked before COVID for the students. During COVID, during lockdown 1, during lockdown 2, and now lockdown 3. Wait a minute. How come their courses don't fucking work? Of course they need new courses because they need to make money from you. John's weekly haircuts are expensive. Thanks. So, oh fuck, it's getting gray here, over here. Fuck, it's really gray. I gotta fucking dye that shit out. No, I cut my own hair. You're like, what the fuck? I always cut my own hair. I bleach my own hair. I color my own hair. So I don't pay a single fucking penny. You're like, what the fuck? All this time? That's right. I've never ever let anyone else cut my hair because they'll fuck it up. Like, no way. You literally get a fucking clippers in the mirror and you cut your own hair? I do. All the fades, everything, I do it myself. Right? I missed a spot here. See that? I forgot to get that done. But regardless, I do all myself. You see that? I missed a spot. Kind of got retarded today. So it's not expensive. It's super easy. And you get more control because the people that cut your hair, they're always telling you, it will never look good that way. It will never look good that way. And you know what I tell them? I was like, fuck you. Right? And then I'll tell them that a lot of my students, or most of them, got laid or pulled during my boot camp. So when they're taking their haircut at boot camp, a lot of these guys that cut it were Middle Eastern. They get pissed off at me. They're like, they get narcissistic. No, I know how to. No, I'm the professional. I was like, dude, I'm the dating coach with the most student results in the world. Cut the fucking student's hair exactly like I said. They argue with me. And I was like, fuck you. And they're like, fuck off. And then they got the haircut. The students pull or get laid. And then it's like, I was right. It happens all the time. Most barbers cut hair too short. When I show the students what haircut to get, I tell them I want a fucking clone of that. And what happens is they start cutting their own version. And you know what happens? I tell my students, get the fuck back in there. Tell the barber that a dating coach with the most students laid, fucked women, the most in the world, with receipts, real receipts. Tell them that. And then this is what they do. They say, the coach said for me to come back and complain about the haircut and fucking fix it, make a clone. And then the second time they do it, it's perfect. And I was like, yeah, you could have done it the first time. Don't listen to the barbers. Copy my student's haircut. And you say, I want like that. And fuck you if you try to change it. Because it's a perfect fucking formula. If most of my students, and we're talking about 476 lay po testimonials got laid and po, most likely I know what haircut fucking works. They're like, oh no, find your own haircut, right? These fucking Asians saying, oh, get your own haircut, don't listen to John. Well, Asians are getting beaten up during COVID-19, guys. So if you do your own haircut, you're going to be Asian wash. For Indians, you're going to be Bollywood wash. It's just like my roommate or friend over here is sending me pictures. What fucking things what blazers should I get? Okay. Over here. So I'm just telling him exactly what blazers to get. Like this one, this one, this one. Right? I'm telling him. Hold on a second. Like over here, like what blazers and shit to get, and which ones not to get because it looks Indian as fuck. Bollywood wash. I was like, no, yes, no, yes, no. So that's the thing. You guys don't know what you don't know because you're know-it-alls. Why is it only 2 thumbs up? Is this too hardcore, guys? I'm telling you the real shit here. So smash the YouTube like algorithm shit, whatever the fuck it's called. Let's continue. Okay. So they're all delusional. This is the next trait. The self-esteem exercise is not a cure, is a ventilator, keeping them on life support. You're like, wait a minute. So if they spend fucking 5 hours a day and 7 days a week, that is not going to cure them? Dude, there is no cure for low self-esteem. The only way to cure low self-esteem is to be competent. Competence equals confidence. Competence equals confidence. And they're like, shit. So they have to be good at the skills. But they're fucking a dual, they're a dual core that basically is making the same mistakes. Correct. Now I'm giving you guys a solution. Be a single core, 1 core CPU, working on 1 skill at a time. You're like, wow, that's a revelation, John. So for them is every single day, what I've noticed is that day 1, it's like an onion, okay? A big onion. They're peeling 1 layer off. And they're like, oh, I can see my mistakes better. But they cannot see everything. So they're like, what are you talking about this, right? You saying that I'm talking too fast or interrupting her? I cannot see it. Day 2. Oh shit, I can see myself interrupting her. John, you're right. Right? But I can't see this yet. Wait until day 3. 5 more hours. Peel another onion. Right? Oh shit, you're right. You're right, John. When you analyze that, I didn't know that. Day number 4. Oh shit, I'm also making these mistakes. It's like, congratulations. You were delusional. It's like a virtual reality goggles, and you were seeing a different reality. You were hearing something else. You're wondering why all the women rejected you, but it looks like they're giving you positive reactions. Kind of like what Mystery said. Indicators of interest, but you need indicators of compliance. Compliance, not indicators of interest, because you guys cannot read the facial expressions. I bet you one thing, because I'm not smiling like all these other dating coaches like this, right? If you look at JT Tran and you look at all these other Asian dating coaches, or you look at all the other RSD, they're always smiling at you and they're comforting you, but you see this as positive vibrational energy because you have so much viruses and malware in your brain. So because John is like, you know, the way John Elite speaks, it's almost like outrage porn, right? Just more outrage. It's like everything I say is just, it's like more outrage. So therefore, it's not positive. But you guys are not seeing that. All the dating coaches that are smiling at you want your money. If they sound like they're comforting you and they're kind of like manipulating you and they're telling you half truths, they want your money. They want every dollar in your fucking pocket. Me, if I want your money, I have to earn it by getting you guys laid, which I did, which I'll post more testimonials. I only want to earn your fucking dollars when I can get your dick into a vagina. Otherwise, I don't want it. So I'm going to post more testimonials, and that gets me more students. That's how it works. Is that simple? Is that fucking simple? And there's be plenty of fucking testimonials coming. I'm going to fucking flood it like Moses in the Red Sea. If you want to, I can do that. Because my courses work before COVID. Their ones work before COVID a little bit, like less than 5 fucking late testimonials. After COVID, not a fucking chance. You think their new fucking game tactics are going to work when social skills is the only thing that works now? The only thing that works is social calibrations and social skills. That's 5 out of 10. That's the only thing that works right now, guys. You're fucked. You are so fucked.
You guys are so fucked. You have no idea. You're just like, oh, I'm just gonna invest. Maybe it's like fear of missing out, right? FOMO. You fucking FOMO, right? FOMO this, FOMO that, fear of missing out. And what's going to happen is that you're going to try all these tactics, and only the students, most people will not get laid. Maybe the tallest guys who are like white or maybe tall Middle Eastern guy might get laid, and then you take a boot camp because you think there's something wrong with you. In reality, there's nothing wrong with you. They just give you confusing courses on purpose. So that way it's confusing. You don't understand it. And then you feel like more game tactics. This is not what you should be focusing on first. Game is like, a value delivery system of your LMS. That's all it is. It's like a fire hose redirecting your LMS. That's why only certain students that they get laid is all like higher SMV than some of the lower SMV guys. So yeah, that's what's happening. Let's continue. So it's like a ventilator. So that means if you don't do this exercise, you're fucked. So if you guys want to recreate this exercise, go to YouTube and type in self-esteem binaural beats. And then listen to it for 5 hours, maybe with earphones. Do not damage your fucking ears. And maybe listen to other subliminal messages to raise the self-esteem. It's not about meditation, guys. And this is for the type A, right? They like meditation. They like delusions. They like affirmations. That's all good, okay? They like all that stuff. I think it's good. I think it's great. But only self-esteem works for your system. That's the only thing that's going to clean up the fucking viruses, guys. That's the only thing that's going to work. It's not meditation, it's not all this stuff. The only thing that cleans it up is self-esteem. If you cannot get self-esteem by being competent equals confidence, then you fucking build it through 5 hours a day. Just don't be a cunt and fucking do it, because that's like a ventilator. There's no cure. That's the best I can offer you. You're like, well, I don't want to be just in a ventilator so I can see clearer and not be delusional. You don't have a choice, guys. And just because you're less delusional and use RSD shit or their fucking shit, and it used to be like red pill, right? Isn't that weird? That they're all red pill. And now they have to distance themselves away because red pill is being under attack. Because red pill makes the most money. That's why they talk about red pill this, red pill that. But now they're just saying, oh, it's some kind of truth pill or real pill or some fucking half-truth pill. But they had to distance themselves away. And now they're finally telling you height matter. The thing is that they knew the truth all along. They just didn't want to tell you. Because you guys are delusional and they got you. They got you so good. Now you look at all these years, they've been gaming you. And John's been telling you everything that's the truth. All this fucking time. So, who's texting me now? Okay. 1 second. Okay. Just student, I'll handle it later. So, yeah, now you're starting to get it. So, they have zero teachability and zero adaptability. That's the next category. So teachability is a nice term for how teachable are you. And I talk about the RAM chips. They only have like 1 stick of RAM and it's very, very low. So they have very low random access memory. So when I'm teaching them, what's happening is they're not fucking getting it because it's overloaded. It's kind of like if you have low RAM and I'm opening a lot of tabs on the computer. I open like 20 fucking tabs. Guess what happens? The whole computer fucking slows down. It completely slows down. And it doesn't work. It's the same thing with them. You're like, holy shit. It's the same thing with them. So that teachability is just a nice term to be how teachable you are. Most of the guys, if I had to score 5 mindsets, which I'll talk about in the future, teachability for unteachable cases, autistic guys, type A's, it's always at 0 or 1. The students or normal cases is always like 8 or 9. You're like, what the fuck? It's almost consistently. All 5 is like 0, 1, 3, 0. It's like less than 10. It's like fucking 7 out of 50 for the mindsets. So it's not all just SMV. It depends on the mindsets, the 5 mindsets, that I can determine how fast the students are going to get laid, especially in a boot camp. I'll talk about that in the future so you guys can learn the entire spectrum of game. Everything. So teachability is forced upon the students if they are to get results. What they don't realize is that when I was using iron discipline, it works for most of the people. Okay? It works for most of the people. It works for the fucking easy cases. Boom. Okay? It works for the fucking hard cases, right? Because they're forced to be on the line. So they're forced to learn the skill. But for these guys, even if you smash the fucking snail, guess what happens? You know, some people think I'm being too tough on them, or you're making them cry. Oh, fuck these people. They're just slow. They're like fucking dual core processors. Yelling at them does not work. And encouraging them. Oh, that's bad, because I was encouraging them from elite access, and for months they ran this into a fucking ground. These motherfuckers, these slow ass motherfucking unteachable fucking cases, and I failed them all because they can't learn social skills. That's why they love game. They love socio skills. Socio skills, type A, motherfuckers. All right. Okay, let's continue. So, skill set without mindset equals upset. I'll say this again. Skill set without mindset equals upset. So without the mindset, right, you cannot get the skill set. It's that simple. But however, the RSD is that they focus on mindset, but they don't have the skill set, which is still upset. So if they're not teachable and the RAM is too slow, they can drag this on forever. Sometimes the students love to drag things on forever. I had one 50-year-old student before COVID-19, and he got a girlfriend. He also got a separate blowjob. And the woman, that's his girlfriend, even though he's 52 years old, it's way harder than he is. And she has a very high value job. I cannot say what. I could get assassinated by her. Even right now, maybe whatever her job is, there's conflicts around the world, and she is part of I can't say anything more. But he got a very high value woman. But after COVID-19, his mindsets crashed. Everyone's mindset crashed. It's almost like all the normal cases, like the tall black student, he became a hard case. He started yelling at me, and it's like making excuses. And I was like, fuck you, motherfucker. You used to be a superstar, right? You're making so many fucking excuses. You're being a cunt. And you know what he said? I'm so sorry, John. I was being a cunt. So he went back to normal case. You see that? But oh no, the hard cases, guess what happened? Hard cases are now impossible cases. Yay, COVID-19. The hard cases, impossible cases. What the fuck? Okay, so if hard cases became impossible cases now become what? Unteachable cases. Oh, we never heard of these guys before. That's right, because they all show up during COVID-19 because they went down one elevator step. One down. Now we have a bunch of unteachable cases. Congratulations, we have a new designation. You're like, fuck. So let's see, skill set without mindset, they can drag on forever. Well, basically that student, when he took Elite 60, the older guy, he dragged on that course forever, didn't learn shit during COVID-19. But that's kind of funny because two other students learned from Elite 60, a top secret super program, kind of like Jason Bourne. They learn high income skills. They learn all sorts of stuff. And the other guys who took it, one of them was engaged. The other one got married. You're like, holy shit, because I work on every area of their life. The Indian student got engaged. He was part of Elite 60, the super top secret program. And another guy from Reddit, which was a tall Asian guy who fucked me over for $2.2 million. He made $2.2 million in 3 weeks. He won 3 Toastmasters competitions after I trained him. But John, you don't know anything about public speaking. Well, maybe not, but I taught him Elite 30, and he's beaten like almost everyone, and he got narcissistic. So his ego went up, his self-esteem went down, and I kicked him out. But he got engaged. I'm not sure if he's married yet. He might be married. But yeah, he's one of the students from Reddit. He's one of the users. I know his username. So I got many people laid from Reddit. So many fucking people. It's ridiculous. Maybe I should start posting their fucking testimonials. But yeah, the Middle Easterns from Reddit. There's so many Reddit students that got laid. And there's a bunch of, fucking Asians who didn't even dive into the course or use just Skypes, the know-it-alls. So for the ones from Reddit that are know-it-alls, use your fucking Skype. So that way you can talk to me and get through your goddamn mental filter. So what's the next category? The know-it-alls, the shallow thinkers. The know-it-alls know it none. So imagine for the know-it-alls, it's like a glacier over here, right? And underneath here, it's like the big fucking glacier under the water. They only see the surface level, these motherfuckers. So they only see the surface. They're very surface level of thinking when they're autistic, especially when they're type A. So they're know-it-alls. They never read a fucking book in their life. They're massive action takers like RSD, but they have no fucking accomplishments in their life. You tell them something, right? And they love to take control. It's like a car. You're driving and you're sitting next to them. They're right here. You like to steer for them, so that way elite access, you can help them get over the fucking line. And then they just have to press on the gas. I turn it. But however, they love to grab the handbrakes and they love to drive into the ditch. I have this 5'4" or 5'3" student, and he's doing his way. He says, I'm gonna make 500 million. Like, dude, I already made students millions, 6 figures, millions, all that shit. You look at the Middle Eastern student, the tall one, he makes all in cash, more than 6 figures. He put it on his bed and he sent it to me. Other student, 18-year-old white student, made like 10.8K copywriting in less than a month, because I want to show the old 50-year-old man that he can do it. And he did it. So this fucking know-it-all doesn't listen, and he becomes one of those COVID-19 victims that are going to drown. Like I said before in the last video, it is almost like these fucking know-it-alls, it takes 4 fucking months for them because they're delusional with the viruses in their brain. They always do it their way. In 4 months, everything blows up in their fucking face. So it's always like, I remember like one of the students who was delusional, one of my Indian students, he always tries to take over and try to be a dating coach and teach himself. It blows up in his face. They always come back after fucking 4 months. You can only do that 3 times in a year. 4, 8, 12. 4, 8, 12. Therefore, most of their 20s disappears in a blink of an eye. In a blink of an eye, they wake up one day, they're like, fuck it, they're 25. They wake up again, 28, 29, 30. They're like, what happened here? What happened here? Because you're a fucking know-it-all. So you fail at everything in life. So they have no self-esteem. So that's why their ego is higher all the time, every year. And their self-esteem tanks. And they become delusional. You're like, shit, sounds like hell. That's right, because they think in a dual core. They can never accomplish shit in their life unless they're Asperger's, which is over there, that external hard drive that's super slow. But they're always fucking failing at everything in life. Everything they do out there, because they're delusional. And some of them will have a short growth spurt, up to 33%. They become like in the industry, they move up, but they're always stuck. Johnny Lee's always on the top because I'm not delusional. I'm not a sociopath, and I can see beyond here. They cannot go beyond the 33% of their potential because they know it all. They know it all. These guys are like know-it-alls. I fucking hate know-it-alls. Know-it-alls know it none. Know-it-all, 4 months, blows up in their face, and then they try to change, but then that's 4 months gone. I fucking hate know-it-alls. These guys are the dumbest motherfuckers on earth. They just know everything. How you know everything? I just know it, John. How you know? John, I just know. I'm psychic. Dude, I'm also psychic. I know more than you. And I can predict much more accurately than you. So, literally, like, I can predict their lives. That's why I can see beyond the 4 months. And a lot of people are very freaked out because John can remote view. It's like, what's in my room? What color is right there? There's a blue thing. There's like some kind of structure like this. Fuck, that's my television. Okay, what color is the lamp here right now? It's turning orange. It's changing colors pink. How you know this, John? Are you in my room? I was like, no, dude. I'm like fucking on the other side of the on Canada. How you see this? Because I can. What? That's the thing. I don't believe in psychic abilities, but I do have it. And you can see in the boot camps, I'm able to predict when this student's going to get laid or not. And I can predict the speed, what the women will say, all the objections. It's kind of a weird ability. So I never am afraid. I know how things are going to be like. I know how things are going to be like. All the time. You can't one-up me. You can't one-up me. You can't, because I see it ahead. I predicted so much of the stock, so much of this, so much of it. That's why you see all my predictions always come true. The things I talked about years ago as John Wayne or Gaming Late has all happened. Everything I say about height, everything I say, it's like everything I fucking said just keeps happening. It's like prophecy. What I'm saying today, which is new to you, in a few years, this is going to be the biggest fucking thing that you all understand. So why don't other coaches listen to me? Because there's type A sociopaths, the high S&B. They're know-it-alls. They never discard shit. But I digress. So there's no depth to their thinking. So if it's a glacier, they can only see the top. a lot of these autistic students, they have no depth. You always have to explain shit to them. They're really dumb. It just nothing fires up in their brain. And then when they worship other dating coaches, it's almost like the other dating coaches can say, well, this is how gamers like, is like this, 10%, this, that. They get gaslighted. They start accepting everything that dating coach does. As soon as you show either an infield or you say stats this, stats that, it's like they're writing their own fucking receipts, right? Stats, field reports. They're writing exactly how much money they made. It's like, fuck you. Fuck you. That doesn't count. But they accept that. So they light up the wrong candles in their part of the brain and they shut off the wrong ones. That's why I need to be on YouTube Live more. So that way they don't gaslight you. Now you realize height does matter. And you're like, shit, it really does matter. So John was not telling you something. That's bullshit. Now they're lighting up all the candles, but they're leaving a few of them, which is very interesting. Now they're forced to light up more. But why did they tell you red pill? Why did they get rid of 80% of the candles before and tell you it's all red pill, it's all game? Because all the money is in game. You should be focusing on social skills. And if you cannot learn it because you're a dual core processor, then maybe you need to focus on just that one core, that one skill, until it becomes like 2 becomes 1. And then you can add the third part. Then now it's like 1, 2, and 1. That's 2 steps. Get it? Give a thumbs up if you guys are learning something. This is the truth, guys. In a few years, you're going to realize, shit, John is the first dating coach to get unteachable cases laid. That's what's going to happen. There's going to be a group B. Let's continue. So no depth to the thinking. So number 1, I would recommend is to read some books. This is a mindset book. This is more like one of those The Secret kind of shit. Those type of books. I've read, I think, all of them. So 16 Laws of Success, Napoleon Hill. I read them all. As a Man Thinketh, I've read them all of them. So Johnny Lee is the best dating coach hands down. It's not even debatable. I mean, of course I'm the best. Like, I don't want to brag or nothing, but I'm so good. Sometimes I even fucking I'm got so used to it. I'm like, yeah, another fucking late testimonial, right? Like all of you are fucking used to it by now. I just pull more late testimonials. Like, yeah, another one from John. Well, we never seen this from other dating coaches. Hell, they don't even have a fucking Daygame late testimonials for a lot of them. The products don't even fucking work. What's going on here? Because COVID-19 shows which system works the best. And which one works the best? My system. Because it's not about game. Work on your social skills first and social calibrations. Fuck the game. Game is the last thing you need to learn. Social skills, social calibrations is digging a fucking foundation downwards so that way you can build upwards later with the game. But my game is the one that works. If you're teachable and changeable, their game does not fucking work. Only work for the people with higher SMV. So all their lay testimonials are people with some type of SMV advantage in their particular location. But let's continue. So read some books. But John, I can't fucking read. It's too much work because you're type 1 ADHD fucking cunt hurts. Learn how to speed read. There are 2 ways to speed read. Number 1, put your finger on the fucking page and go like this. Research shows the decision making on our brains composed. And this is what you do. So you're saying you don't stop? No, you shove this up your fucking brain. Kind of like you shove it up your ass. You force all the words into your brain. You be teachable. You're like, what the fuck? So you can read this fast. This is not the fastest I can read, guys. I've also learned from the guy who's the world record holder. Number 3 world record holder goes like this. Number 1 does it like this. This hand, like this. And he uses his left hand to grab the next one, like this, on the top, okay? Grabs the next page. And then he continues, so there's no leg time. You're like, what the fuck? Then he grabs this one, or something. Left hand grabs this one. Same thing. So the left hand grabs this one, continues reading with the left hand, right hand. So how you read this? Who, what, where, when, where, why, how. You see that? So who? One afternoon is when. Sitting on the beach, right, is where. You see that? Now the words are throwing in your fucking brain, right? I was hungry. Why? Or desperately trying to figure out how I can get food. So that's the why. I was borrowing money from everyone I knew in the area. Only person willing to extend me credit is a lovely lady at the noodle shop. over the years would become my second mother. This guy was homeless and he made a fucking $2 billion in Thailand. This Middle Eastern guy. Just saying. So you learn a lot from this book. This is like a $2 billionaire mental filter. If you don't read, you will not absorb 10 years of his experience. So you're saying for the delusional fox out there that they should be doing this or learning how to do the other way. And the other guy who taught me how to read that shit, I learned from the course, is called Howard Berg. Howard Berg is world record holder, the fastest reader in the world. So I can read that fast like this. Who, what, when, where, why, how. Like that. The next page. I can read so fast. And you don't read books, you use books. That means if you learn 3 things from a book, you write it down, action steps, and you apply it. If it doesn't work, just like Johnny Lee, you discard it. If it works, congratulations. You have now made an extra $1,000 or $2,000 in your business. So you're saying like, that's right. And I only read the books from the guys who actually made it. $2 billion. Of course I want to listen to him. You can burn 99% of the books, but for the delusional fucks out there, if you don't fucking read, guess what happens? Your brain is going to be shit. So mindset books are good for these kind of secret kind of books, but also the guys who made a fuck ton of money, I read their books. I discard everyone else. I tell the other people, go fuck yourself. I don't read books for the sake of reading books. I use books. Everything I read, I use it in my business. That's why I'm still doing fine during COVID-19. Shit. So that's the problem with the know-it-alls. Start reading books. I'm forcing one of my students to read books. I'm making him read this book from a billionaire called Charlie Munger because he wants to do investing. It's called The Poor Charlie Munger's Almanac. It's like fucking 600 pages. He's listening to the summary version. So he's less delusional because he's losing all his fucking money trying to, invest. And these days, because the government is clamping down in over-taxation, even if you made some money, you're overtaxed. And if you try and move your money from Bitcoin into your bank, they're going to tax that shit. You have to declare the income too. As soon as you close the deals, you sell it, you do anything. It's like, even if you hold it in your account. So these days, what I'm saying is, it's a little bit harder to make money if you're just an investor. He hasn't had a business he can scale, and he doesn't have any fucking skills. Of course, you can hire people with skills, but if you don't have any fucking skills of your own, guess what happens? I can copyright. I can public speak. And tell me I cannot do it. Even though I don't have a big audience. If I'm able to teach somebody to win all these public speaking competitions from being last place to first, and maybe I have some fucking skills. Sales, I have such good sales skills. I close 90% of the people on the phone. So I stopped doing that. But maybe I need to do that again. Maybe after I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to give 20 people a 15-minute free strategy session. And maybe I'll try to close all of you, and you can try to resist. Right? I dare you to try. Even if you had no money, I'll probably sell you on something. I'm that good. I can sell ice to Eskimos. But yeah, for you guys out there, you should be getting the Elite Bundle. So let's talk about it. If the Elite Bundle is the only thing that works during COVID-19, there is no reason why you should not get the course. Let me ask you a question. Did their stuff work before COVID-19? Obviously not. If my stuff works, you're saving money. Stop being Mr. FOMO, fear of missing out. You're only going to be missing out on your money. So I'm just saying, get the Elite Bundle. If you're saving up money for what? You need to invest your money. You can't just start saving it during COVID-19 because the money goes down. It depreciates. You want to invest in skills like a ninja. You want to make sure that you can actually learn the skills here, close, get into my Hall of Fame. For all the people out there who are the testimonials, if you want to take the course afterwards, fine, but get laid here first. All right. Now back from our sponsors. Let's continue. So reading helps. And if you got mentors, that's great, but mentors and reading is important. My Pakistani mentor reads a lot. He also has the summaries and stuff too, so he can listen in the car, which is great. So next category. Typically, they have both autism and Asperger's, as I said earlier. Some has a very technical job. A lot of my students are in the medical field, engineers, as I said earlier, accountants. I can already tell just by asking the students. Some aren't good at everything, but those guys with the lowest, okay, but those are the guys with low self-esteem. So what I think I was trying to say, even though it sounds like fucking, I don't know what the fuck I wrote, but I can tell which students are engineers. I was like, are you engineers? Like, yes. How you know? Fuck. I get a lot of engineers because I'm a very logical guy and very scientific. They love that shit. They love that shit. But if you have autism and you have Asperger's, it's kind of like the external hard drive in your brain. Guess what? It's not very fast. You're good at one thing and you feel so proud. You're like, look at me. I'm good at this. So I'm good at everything. No, motherfucker. You are just good at that one thing in that slow motherfucking hard drive. You may be a good engineer, but you suck at everything else because the one part of your brain is too big and the rest of it gets smaller. Your neural pathways. You're like, shit. Congratulations. Fucking know-it-alls. So Asperger's autism is like a superpower. It's kind of like an autistic Superman. You know, Clark Kent is Superman. You're good at one thing. You're world class at it. Not world class, but most of these guys are probably making six figures. They're not world class as shit. Okay, they're good at one thing. Very good. Maybe not the best in the world, but they're good. But they suck at everything else. It's kind of like, imagine I made a superhero concept. I drew a superhero. So it's like an autistic Superman. They can do the math. So whenever they're fighting crime, they're always calculating like calculus, every fucking thing. If I just shoot like whatever, right, in their Asperger fucking voice, right? If the buildings are fall down exactly at this angle, or they sound monotone like this, right? And that happens. And they go back in nerd mode. They're like back to Clark Kent. They wear glasses, right? They wear glasses. Don't laugh at me. And then they wear back their Clark Kent outfit. And they act like aspy fucking nerds with no social skills. No ability to change facial expression. They'll be like, oh yeah, I got the most laser. And then they'll be like technical and autistic as shit. And I can sound very autistic like Elon Musk if I wanted to and explain all this stuff. And I can talk just like an aspy like Elon Musk if I wanted to. But I'm not, because I'm not fucking Asperger's. But I could be so technical, I can make your fucking mind spin. I'm translating all this for you. Let's continue. So people with these traits for evolutionary psychology does not procreate. I hate to tell you this, guys. The ones who are Asperger's and you're good engineers and all this stuff, in the old days, you may be a specialized guy. You have specialized skill. You are the guys who are taking care of other people's families. You are the people advising other people, but you're not procreating. So that's the dangerous thing. You do all this other side shit. So you're saying, oh shit, that's right. Your autism scares women. You believe it's an evolutionary advantage. You are actually weeding yourself out of evolutionary psychology. You're like, fuck. So let's talk about the next category of the 10. They all love to do things their way. They fail in 4 months. I know we talked about that. Then they ask for advice just to go off track. So why is it 4 months? I have no clue. But it's just how it is. I already, for 2 5'3" students, I already just told them that you're just gonna fucking drown. And they get offended. It's like this guy's like, how do I run this business? It's like, you don't know how to run the fucking business. You fail at every fucking business before. And they get offended. They get butthurt. Their asshole slams shut. They get offended and they don't want to hear from me. And they come back in 4 months. What the fuck? Why don't you do it right the first time and fucking listen? I mean, I probably have a much higher IQ than you. And there are people out there like 155 IQ. And they're like, oh, yeah, I got 150. Well, big fucking deal. I got 175. That's way higher than you. And not to mention, my students' results are way higher than yours. I mean, it's like, oh, Tinder test. Doesn't fucking count, asshole. Tinder, fuck you. Tinder does not count as lay counts. Only because Tinder is not pickup. Tinder is not goddamn fucking pickup. You're not picking up shit. Why even call it like a pickup product? You are just basically swiping with your goddamn thumbs up your ass and with pictures and saying you're a DJ. That's not fucking pickup. Daygame and night game is pickup. Even the blue pill can do Tinder and get more lays than you guys. Do they count as testimonials? No. Of course they can do night game too, but the point is that's not pickup. Night game is pickup.
Day games pick up. Well, I call it cold approach. No, you motherfucker. You try to lump day game and night game and calling it cold approach. Gaslighting people with half-truths. Doesn't fucking count. Doesn't fucking count. But I digress. All right. So, it's like a ticking time bomb. If I give them a piece of advice, it's like I'm throwing a life preserver at them. So here's elite access. So you just do this and you do that. So I throw 2 from the helicopter, 1, 2. You're supposed to put one hand in the other one and this hand in this one so you can float. You know, they all float. Oh yes, they do. Oh, they all float. They all float. So they have to learn how to fucking float first. Then they can swim forward. Oh. So they don't fucking float. So what they do is they hit away the fucking life preservers and they fucking swim their direction. Because they're fucking know-it-all. In 4 months, they drown. They drown in the first fucking, the know-it-alls are the first ones to drown during COVID. And my students, the one that uses Skype, someone's asking about the Skypes earlier. It's almost like a swimming lesson. When I taught you over Skype, over the infield analysis, it's a fucking swimming lesson. And that's a problem. If it took one Skype to get this London student so many fucking lays, right? To get so many fucking lays, the London student, and that's the thing. That's all it took. Crikey. Then why would you waste all the time trying to go for 6 months to Asbury? It's a criminal to waste 6 months of people's time when John can get them laid after one Skype. John, stop talking like a British person. Ew, I cannot help it. I got to speak Brit. Once you go Brit, you got more grit than COVID-19. All right. So what happens is, it's like a ticking time bomb. If John's psychic and he knows exactly what will happen to you if you didn't listen to John Elite, don't be surprised if I can predict every area of your life. In the boot camps, you can see me talking in tongues. I'm saying some weird stuff that nobody understands. But you, I know. Plus, I have some life experience. My mentor filter is usually always right. In all these years, not a single student found me wrong. They always said that John is 100% right. All the predictions, everything. Not a single student ever said I was wrong. When they say I was wrong, because they're know-it-alls, he know it none. Later on, they apologize. And they say, John, I was being a cunt, a wanker. And you realize John Elite was right all along. He was so right. And you should listen to him in the first place, instead of doing your London Daygame yard stops. The fucking know-it-all wankers know it one, know it none. Because they're all 6s and 7s. Crikey. So the solution is, it's like a storm in a, I gotta stop talking like that. It's like a big storm in the ocean. And the ocean overwhelms your senses and overheats your computer. So you start to drown. You start being know-it-all because there's like a virus in your motherfucking brain. I got students who are schizophrenic, who are completely delusional. They don't even know what reality is from other things. So that's the thing. And if there's an ocean, the only way you can float is to grab on the life preservers from Elite Access and stop trying to grab the fucking handbrake and trying to steer into the motherfucking ditch. You can't steer into the fucking ditch anymore. So stop doing your way and pushing those life preservers away because you're going to drown. And eventually you start to float. They all float. That means you do this social skills drill, the 3 steps so much, eventually you start to float. And then you can swim forward towards the get laid during COVID-19 island. It becomes easy. So the next thing is that they're all easily triggered. And these are the offended Asians. That's a new term. The offended Asians. The guys on Reddit, the fucking Asian masculinity, they're all offended.
They're just like this. They give me this fucking look. It's called a scowl. They're like this. So when cold approaching, how do I show social proof to get a girl to open up and get her to talk? Well, that's a fucking stupid question. Why do we have to show social proof? What is this? Like fucking, well, you gotta open up your fucking Instagram and just like, look at me, I got pre-selection, right? And DHV all day? Are you fucking kidding me? Maybe that's the problem. So how can you get her opening up to talk? It's very simple. Very simple. The social skills flow drill was designed to get her to talk. That means you gotta listen to what she says. You know, when you got these fucking cockfags who are like, oh yeah, so blah, blah, blah. You got like mystery, you got like 5 threads, right? And then you try, if you can't go down one thread, then you go to the next thread, and then you go to the next thread, and then you go down this same thread again, and then because mystery, because fuck analogy, like Elon Musk says, do not reason by analogy. You try to look at the first principles, you know, the fundamental truths. That's Elon Musk. And when you look at a battery, you look at the ingredients, because if you look at analogy, that would be like saying that we don't need cars because horses are more convenient. But that's reasoning by analogy, kind of like mystery. But instead, what you should be doing is reasoning by first principles. So you ask yourself, how much is a battery? What components is it? It's aluminum, cobalt, and zinc. But how much would this stuff cost in the market? Much cheaper. So I can build a Tesla battery for much cheaper. That's reasoning by first principles. So that's a problem. When you think by mystery, you're always thinking, I need social proof to open. Well, why the fuck you need social proof? You need social skills. So it's not the threading. She's going to give you the words. Every time she talks about herself, she's dropping the guard. This is more advanced level stuff. She's dropping the guard. So if she's saying that she does figure skating, guess what? You use the jab, you attack figure skating. So now this is your thread. Speaking of figure skating, I used to know a girl who's Latina that was really into that. I'm just curious. Do you ever got injured during figure skating? Or have you, and why do you pick figure skating of all things? And then you try and get a longer answer. So for her, speaking like Elon again, now she's going to be saying, well, I did figure skating because I did it when I was younger, and I never stopped. So there's key words in there. You're like, whoa, younger, figure skating, never stopped. So you can use the same thread. Why would you be switching threads like simple pickup or mystery method? You understand that? So speaking, when I was younger, I used to do a lot of skateboarding. One time I broke my wrist because somebody called me. I looked their direction and I fell, and I had a cast. I'm just curious. Why are you not deterred by figure skating? And how do you keep it up for so many years? Where she's like, well, yes, I did get injured a few times, but the reason why I kept going was because, well, nobody wanted me to do it. My parents did not want. You got her talking. You're like, gotcha, bitch. It's like fucking opening a crowbar. Now she's talking more. And guess what? You got keywords everywhere. My mom didn't want me to stop. Nobody believed in me. I was once an artist too, and nobody believed in me. And I want to be an animator and make maybe video games or concept art. I'm just curious. Besides figure skating, did you want to do something else when you're growing up? What's your occupation right now? Well, right now I'm a nurse, but originally I also wanted to be an artist too. So it's not like a long answer. Well, speaking of nurses, I heard that ICU is completely flooded with COVID-19 patients. I'm just curious. How do you deal with all that stress besides figure skating? Do you do something else like yoga by any chance? Oh no, she's like saying, well, actually I do. I don't do yoga, but I weightlift. And these days, everything has been closed down. And also, I do a little bit of meditation. Speaking of meditation, I don't do too much meditation. I've been told that I'm like Gordon Ramsay because of it. My brain's kind of chaotic. I'm just curious. When you meditate, what is the feeling you should be aiming for? And what is the best advice for beginners? Well, she'd be saying, well, the best advice for beginners is that a lot of times you got to think about nothing. Maybe think about a word or a certain chant, and learning how to relax the body is important. So you got some key words. You see that? You go with that same thread by keeping her on the line, like Jordan Belfort. Therefore, you never run out of things to say because she's dropping the guard and she's giving you points to hit. I can do this all day. You see that? So speaking of, she says, "Oh yeah, because you don't think about." Yeah, I mean, when I was doing drawing when I was in university, I myself don't think of anything. I switch over to the right brain, and I feel completely free. Is that how you feel like the time goes by very quickly, or is it something else? Well, it doesn't go by very quickly for me. That's what she says. It actually goes by very slow, but you eventually learn how to shut off your body and your mind, and you got more spiritual connection. Yeah, speaking of spiritual connections, I myself am very psychic. I wasn't too spiritual, but I realized there's something on the other side. Do you believe in the whole universe concept? And is this something that you know, are you religious? Well, I'm not religious per se, but I do believe there is a universe and some kind of God somewhere. Speaking one time, I saw a ghost, and you see what I mean? You got her opening up. So how can John do all this? Because this is like a social skills flow drill, 3 steps. Because I don't have the autism, I can do this all day. So what is the same day lay? It's just basically keeping her on the line in this boxing match. So when they tell you there's a fucking 5 threads and you go for one or the other and you're skipping back and forth, now speaking of Elon Musk, the problem with that is that when they say mystery said this or that, that's reasoning by analogy, and they're not keeping her on the line. It becomes like a numbers game. What happens when you run out of threads? All you can do is just try to touch her on way to victory, and that's where they screw up. I'm just saying because according to article, men approaching women are seen as creepy. Just stop reading these fucking articles. I just told you the answer. You get her opening up. You're like peeling a fucking onion. You don't just get to 50-50 like that in DHV your way to victory. You have to peel the onion like I did. And whenever she's off the fucking line, that's when you tease. But you go back to this flow drill. Most people don't understand. It's like, John just used social skills. No, you got socio skills. This is not easy to do. And when I tell a student on Skype that I just show them this flow drill and I can go on all day, they can't even do it more than once or twice. And most of the students in Elite Access, 85% has failed. That means they can't do social skills, so they're addicted to the game. They're addicted to the game. I can go on all day like this. So what this shows is that game, you should not be focusing on fucking gamified autistic shit. You need to learn how to speak like this and flow like this forever. This is not some fucking ABCs of attraction, stupid verbals drill, or these Asian dating coaches. Oh, verbals, or conversation. It's not a fucking conversation. This is social skills. Social skills. Fit in the fucking tribe. They can't fucking speak like that, like I do. This is a skill. If you're measured out of 10, right? I can do this all day. They can't do it. They sound like fucking robots asking stupid robotic questions, and they sound like they're a gamey fucking structure. So she can't see me flowing like this. And whenever she gives me attitude, I right cross, then she opens up and stays on the fucking line. You don't need to multi-thread it because they can't even fucking single thread it like a single core. They need to practice that way because their brains are dual cores. That's why they like to use height and SMV it with their whiteness, their rightness, and their height. That's not game, and they have no proof. They have no receipts, and they're like, oh, it's all off the pole. That's all you can get. You can't fucking same day lay. Show one fucking video, to these white dating coaches that you open a girl, you talk to her, you brought her away home, and you fingered her and you fucked her, right? And I shown all that shit, and YouTube fucking likes to strike my videos because I was showing me fucking women, and I got striked. That's why I wrote 2 strikes on my same day lay infield thing. Fuck you. So they striked it down. I mean, that's bullshit. But yeah, I guess I have to cut out the sex scenes. But they don't have it. They don't have it. So they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. What Poe Infields and a student Poe. Nobody gives a fuck about Poe Infields. Show a fucking same day lay. Where the fuck are your receipts? How we know is not from seeking arrangements. I'm not saying that they are using seeking arrangements. I'm saying they're using it as a lead generator. But how we know is not that. It's like, I got a bunch of receipts and I can go over my infields and analyze it. Well, big fucking deal. Can you show that you actually got laid from it? No. Probably like 10% of them are lays. And this night game is easier. Plus a wingman, you have another decent looking white wingman. Come on now, it's not fucking stupid. And if you want me to analyze your infields, here's a guy that's so good at analyzing that the students could get laid after one fucking infield analysis. One, not 6 months. You don't know shit. And you're fucking multi-threading it like a fucking autistic piece of shit. I hope that answers your question. Multi-thread it. And it relates to this. They can't fucking do it. It's almost impossible. They'll fry their fucking brains. They'll throttle. They'll be like a dual-core CPU completely bottlenecked. They can't fucking do that. I can continue this conversation all day, but we don't have time. We gotta get through the next step. So they're all easily triggered. And when I say the word fuck, bitch, cunt, right? Motherfucker, benchode, they do this because they have low self-esteem and high ego. And that's group A. The autistic sociopaths, they have no social skills. They can't flow like that. They can't talk naturally. It's just a bunch of DHV stories and whatever the fuck you're thinking. You're fucking clueless. This is my students are getting laid nonstop because it took them, the London student, took 2 fucking weeks to master this flow drill. And I could do it on my first try. And I can go on all day. So group B, group A, I'm going to say there's a group A, B, and C now. Okay? I'm not talking about that one. From now on, I'm going to separate the students that already got laid is group A, hypothetically speaking. Group A already got laid. Group B is all a bunch of fucking losers and failures. But guess what? I'm going to make the failures into winners. So there's going to be a group B, a few students. I'm still going to get them laid. But then we're going to separate the group C. Group C is the guys who will never fucking procreate. Right? The fucking unteachable cases. So this is what COVID-19 will do. They'll separate you. And I'm telling you, for those who do not know how to do the flow drill, get elite access if you have the bundle. But if you cannot do the flow drill, you are fucked. You are not going to survive COVID-19. You are just going to get rejected because you're going to be part of the out tribe. And it's going to be fun when I watch none of you getting laid. Because you're going to be spam approaching, high-fiving, and doing these DHV stories and all this clown shit and all this mystery method threading fucking autistic shit, looking for positive reactions and touching your way to victory and trying to sexualize it. They're fucking clueless. They're not keeping it on the line. They're not. And they say, oh, it goes to the fucking texting, and then they're off the fucking line because you didn't close the deal during that day, same day late. So you have to retarget, kind of like emailing them over and over until they respond. It's fucking stupid. You're retargeting. You are not on the line. That is more Grant Cardone's concept, not Jordan Belfort's. When I teach the game, it's almost like my system is like the straight line persuasion system. And my objections dealing are much better than theirs. You know? That's the thing, though. Because I'm Jordan Belfort. And that's the funny thing about when you're talking about all this stuff. You know, you get like blue chews, you know, like a fucking dick pills, you know, for erections stuff. That's how Jordan Belfort talks like. And they don't understand the objections dealing by the compliance threshold. I tried this shit on a boot camp, and a student filmed me just to test it on a model. She said yes when I dealt with her compliance threshold. And she eventually said no to sex. Why did she do that? She's 18 years old and she's a model and she likes guys who are rich. It's very, very simple. Because I was not tall enough and I wasn't rich enough. And the thing is that value, because they're talking about sales and all that shit. They don't know what they're talking about. They're like Grant Cardone, completely fucking clueless with the funnel systems. And Johnny Elite's more like Jordan Belfort than they are. Because Johnny Elite can actually close 90% of the people. And plus Johnny Elite knows high ticket sales. His skills are beyond. And that's the thing, though, because the very first thing I do is not about a 14 objections flowchart. That's like Grant Cardone. I can deal with any objections very easily. For example, she says, I got to go home. I acknowledge you got to go home, but your home or my home. Because if I go to your home, then you'll take advantage of me. I'm just joking. I'm probably the most handsome guy you met all day. And maybe you're not my type because you're a brunette. I like blondes. I'm blonde. But however, I can afford for you a $2 coffee right now. It doesn't cost a lot. And what's the worst that can happen? Maybe you make a new friend. I want nothing from you. I just want to get to know you. I literally get to know you in 5 minutes. Come on, in 5 minutes. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Okay. Objections dealt with. Fuck the flow chart. This is skills. This is sales skills. Maybe another flow chart is, are you a serial killer? I acknowledge that in this situation you can be worried. But let me ask you a question. Why are you worried? I'm an Asian guy. Do I look like a violent person? Don't Asians look like they're very cute, just like some person said earlier, cute and friendly? It's like, I acknowledge. She's like, okay, I guess so. Yeah, I acknowledge that, you got worried, but I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter. And right now, I can see something that's very lovely. Of course, maybe I'm too tired for sex, but we don't have to do anything that you don't want to. Maybe we can just hang out in a Netflix and chill and see how it goes. And look, you're taller than me anyways, right? You're a woman, you're much taller than me, and it doesn't matter. But, maybe you want somebody's confidence for once. Somebody that can really, really, give you a lot of orgasms and a nice back rub. Oops, I said it out loud. I was just joking. No, don't worry. Nothing bad will happen. I'm just joking around. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's go. See that? Objections dealt with. Another objection, right? Give me another objection. Like dressing nice and having good accent wasn't talking about Instagram. What the fuck does what? Oh. What the fuck is social proof? Like, why is it so important right there? This is not Night Game. It's not like a bunch of sets where you have to merge them. Or you can use your fucking social proof for your Instagram later on with some pre-selection. I told you the fucking answer. You're one of those unteachable cases, aren't you? You're one of those hard cases, the delusional fucks. Okay? I bet you don't know shit about game. My students would, stomp all over you. So what's another common objection that women will give you? Let's say, for example, I'm not a night gamer, so I don't use those objections. So the problem with their objections dealing is that I always grab the gi, the uniform, when I say I acknowledge. And that's why I do, even in the texting. Because they're not using statements of empathy. They're saying I'm using a straight line persuasion. They're not using a straight line persuasion. They're not even looping. Sometimes you need to loop the objections to the point where the women will say yes, like I did. They didn't loop. They just fucking try to use one hand and try and knock her over. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So they're like, oh yeah, I mean, don't worry. My friends are still at the club. We'll come back in the club later on or some bullshit, right? We'll come back or something like that. And they think that deals with the objection. But the problem with that objections dealing is that it only works for white people or a token Asian. It doesn't work for everyone because the value exceeds her and she eventually falls when they try to throw her one hand. She's like, why not? But when a person like me who's short, who did exactly the same thing on an 18-year-old girl, who's a model and who was a high status kind of person, it didn't work. She said yes, and then she said no because the value didn't exceed it, and I can't throw with one hand. So I should be saying, I acknowledge that, blah, 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 but loop it. That's the thing that they don't understand. So objections is in my religion, I prefer to wait before sex. Well, okay, I'll say something like, I acknowledge that you wait before sex, but is there a particular reason for it? And is it like, what religion are you part of? She might say, Middle Eastern. Well, speaking of Middle Eastern or Islam or Muslim, I've banged so many Middle Eastern women. Most of them are not into that at all. So I'm just curious. So if they're not into that, maybe what you're trying to do is you're trying to wait for a guy who is Mr. Perfect. And one day you're going to get old. Maybe you're not my type. You ever thought about that? Most guys do not like prudes. And that's the thing, because your religion, half the women doesn't do it, and the other half does it. They still have sex before marriage. Even Indian women, they say they're virgins during marriage, but they bang so many guys and they rebuild the hymen. So I'm just curious. For me, if I don't have sex with a woman, I know she's wasting my time. If I do have sex with her, I want to spend more time with her. And I know this is a big commitment. This is a big commitment. But you're going to turn off every single guy and you're going to waste a lot of time. And you might regret that there might be a perfect guy somewhere around here. There's no pressure. If you want more time, that's fine. But if you want someone that's really into you, that we find each other attractive, all I'm saying is that that's great. You're a virgin. I'm not going to force you. But however, one of these days when you're like older and older and no guy wants you, you're still a virgin, you're going to start to regret. And sometimes in life, it's not about the things that we did not do in life. It's about the things we did in life when we were younger. Do you understand that? When you grow up, you don't want to have regrets. Am I right? When you have regrets, that's when you start to, and now her mind's starting to change a little bit. You see that? Will you regret it if you turn like 38 or 39 and you still haven't had sex and no guy wants you? And she's like, yeah, I guess so. So that's the thing though, because like I said, you only remember the good things that happen in your life. And this does not go against your religion. If half of the people in your religion does, okay, fine. You know what? We'll go on a date and we'll just see how it goes. All right, no pressure. I want nothing from you. Get it? Looping. They don't know how to do that. They just have this fucking stupid ass flow chart with 14 things on it, completely stupid cockfags, who basically just try to throw with one hand with their big size, thinking they can wear her down. I know what I taught you is very unethical because you can get any woman to say yes. You can get anyone to say yes. And this is why it's dangerous even talking about this, because you can literally turn a woman who is no into a yes. Give me more objections. Like, I can literally deal with any objection. And I don't need a goddamn flow chart. So this is more natural because I use the algorithms. Fuck the game. It's the algorithms. This is the real game. The natural game, but without just being a natural game is kind of bullshit, because if you're not born as a natural, you just try to sound natural and just wing it. This is not winging it. This is natural but tactical and adaptive. These are what real naturals use. They know how to loop this. This is all the naturals that I've met do exactly the same thing. I'm telling you something that the real ones do. This is how they do it. It's that simple. Sometimes you got disqualified. I can't tell you any further. I can only give you. I can only show you. But I can make you say yes to anything. And this is why my students, you look at how many of my students have gotten laid when they say the same thing. I can show you on my phone. If we look at testimonials, they always say, John told me to text this. On the boot camp, John says to text this and that. And I dealt with all her objections. That's what they say. John said she's going to give you this objection, this objection, this objection. I dealt with them all and I fucked her. And you should see the fucking clips. Do you understand? If a PUA were to cold approach 100 girls in one day and 90% reject you, 10% give you number of flake, you might actually go on a date. Is this true? No. Most of my first approaches is the same day lay. I only get rejected the second time when I'm tired. When they talk about, well, they got rejected in fields, I really fucking get rejected on the first one. I practice Kaizen until I can do that. It's always the first one. That's why in the boot camp, when you always see me, first approach, John does it. Fucking same day lay. I don't even know what you're talking about. You need to stop being gaslighted by these autistic, tall dating coaches who are white. Oh, it's going to take 10%, rejected 90. You don't even approach fucking 100. You dumb fuck. This is why my students practice the flow drills at home, like a ninja leveling up. You better close quickly. My bootcamp students can close in less than 5 approaches. You are fucking clueless. All of you are so fucking dumb. I feel like Elon Musk trying to explain to you dumb motherfuckers what the real game is, but no one listens. After a few years, is like, oh, John was right. Fucking stupid. Okay, objection. I love you, but I am a student. I have a lot of homework to do. I'm afraid that I'm going to fail class. Okay? I acknowledge that you may fail class if you don't do the homework. But I can help you do the homework. We can sort of just Netflix and chill and study at the same time. Right? You have to say acknowledge, but we can do it at the same time. I'm going to help you. On top of that, I can give you a back massage and everything. You'll feel much better. And wouldn't that be nicer? At least you got somebody. I will not distract you. And then maybe if you just need your pussy needs a little bit of like, just a little bit of a massage too. That can help because that helps you focus. after you release all the endorphins. That's all I'm saying. But don't worry, it's no pressure. You can always tell me leave at any time if you do not feel comfortable. That's no problem. But I'm saying that you will not fail your exam. I'll keep you focused. And if you really, really need a massage, I can help you with that. I know it seems like, is sometimes this is actually the same thing that happened with me and my last girlfriend. She was in the exact same situation. And what happened is, yeah, of course we did it. We're just humans. But she became my girlfriend afterwards. And maybe that's not what you're looking for. But I'm just saying it led to something good. So you should definitely let me come on over. And don't worry, I'll do absolutely nothing. I'll be a good friend, right? I'll be very friendly. And she's like, oh, I love the sort of attitude, right? Then she's like, oh, okay, I'm not sure. But that's the thing. Don't worry. I won't do anything you don't want to. If you really don't believe me, right? You can just fucking get a taser or something. Or here's my ID, right? You can hold on to it. And if I do anything, just give it to the cops. Okay, fine. Come on over. Done. You're like, holy shit. That's right. So fuck their flow chart. Give me more objections. So is what I'm doing even legal if you can get anyone to say yes? Yeah, it's legal because they said yes. They have objections. You deal with 2 or 3 of these. If you're a white guy, you only have 1 objection to deal with, or 2. You're an Asian guy, you got 10 objections to deal with. It's like a game of Super Mario Brothers where you have to pass every fucking castle and not fall into the fucking lava. Which is better, indirect or direct game? Oh my God, can you please read some of my fucking website, dude? Direct does not have any lay testimonials, you dumb fuck. Show me all the dating coaches with going direct. They have 0 or 2 lay testimonials. Todd Valentine, 2. Brad Askins, 2. Unless he has more, I don't think so. 2. It's 2. It doesn't fucking work. It's a low probability odds. It's not about indirect. It's about indirect. Switch over to adaptive openers. To statements of empathy. I know we should be social distancing. I don't have this COVID-19 variant, so don't worry. I'm fine. Then she's like, it's okay. So it's not just indirect or direct. It's more like Elon Musk talking about the first principles. You gotta like get the women to stop. And once you get her to stop during COVID, you got to not go direct because you have to be part of the out tribe. Yeah. And after that, you he would turn his eyes left and right. And afterwards, yeah. So you see, then you have to call out the social distancing. Yeah. And after that, then you have to call out the COVID-19 variants, the elephant in the room. Then you disarm her fear. Hope that makes sense. That's your answer. That's the only thing that works for all my students. So that means I'm discarding the old openers. Fuck indirect. Fuck direct. It's indirect, adaptive statements of empathy, and calling out the elephant in the room. You don't know what the fuck I teach. Maybe you should look it up. Jared, check it out. Check out my website. Maybe look at the concepts. There it is. Check out my website. I have a website. Look at all the fucking 476 late poll testimonials. Give it a thumbs up if you guys are learning something. So let's continue. So, yeah, that's all I wrote. That was 10 different things. And if I send you this video in the future, it is for the know-it-alls. Now it is 2 hours. I'm going to end it. Like speaking like Elon Musk, I'm going to end it in 2 hours. I love you, but I live with my grandparents. By hanging out with you, I am afraid. They might get a small chance I can kill them. We can meet later in the future, but not now. I acknowledge that we should meet in the future, but so you're worried if we meet. Okay, how about this? We both go, I acknowledge that you worry about killing your parents and stuff, or your grandparents, but we can both take a COVID-19 test together before we meet. I can get a hotel, and we both can meet over there. And there's no pressure. So once we test negative, we both will just directly go to the hotel. And then we'll see how the night goes. So that way, you don't have to worry about your grandmother. You'll be safe. And if you want to stay here a little bit longer, that's fine. So you can wear a mask even during sex. And if you're really worried before we meet, you can take a lot of vitamin D, because people with COVID-19 and stuff catch it faster when they have depleted vitamin D. But it's very simple that most likely, even if you caught COVID-19, let's say hypothetically, you can still wear a mask at home for 2 weeks and your grandmother will be fine. So therefore, it doesn't really matter, because when you wear a mask at home all the time, they don't actually spread it because a hairdresser wore the thing. And I can always go with another woman if you're not interested. There's plenty of them. So, but I want to be with you during this day. It's very simple. So you can't really lose. Does that make sense? You wear a mask here, you wear a mask at home, you'll be fine. And I don't have COVID-19. We're both going to test negative. And you can always keep testing again afterwards in a week. And you can wear a mask and you'll be safe. So there's nothing to worry about. And besides, I know how sex deprived you are during COVID-19. You need a guy who can last a couple hours like me. And I'm not here to brag, but sometimes, for me, I last like 2 or 3 hours. Most women get tired. When women have like 25 orgasms, but imagine you doing nothing. The thing is that when you get older, you don't want to have regrets. And your grandmother's going to be safe anyways, most likely. And besides, if we both always test negative, maybe we can hook up all the time and not go for other people. And we can see where it takes us. Maybe I could be a very important person in the future one day. Who knows? What do you say? Like I said, none of us are going to catch it anyways. We have the test, and you can also wear a mask at home. I can wear a mask during sex. Even masks when we go to the doctors. I can even bring N95 mask. I have some. Well, if that's the case, then but that's the thing though. Not everyone takes risk in life, and those are the times you're gonna regret. Yeah, I do acknowledge that people could die, but in this case, what we're doing is we are reducing the odds of that happening. I mean, I understand your concern, but nothing like that will happen, as you can see. Everything is handled. And we can stay at the hotel, for a week if you want. So that way your grandmother, you don't have to worry about it. And I can get you food and stuff. And whenever you have to go somewhere, you wear a mask. We can buy a bunch of masks afterwards together. Everything will be fine, okay? Okay, fine. But wait, it took so long to get over the objection. That's right. You see that? Done. But that took longer. So I shouldn't tell you exactly. I'm just telling you what to do. I'm not telling you how to do it. I'm not teaching you shit, because you guys can't do it without my training. You will fuck it up. But I'm just telling you what it is to expand your fucking awareness. Fuck their fucking flow chart. This is debunking their fucking flow chart. What the fuck do they know about objections dealing? Here's a guy who basically can close 90% of the students over the phone, so he stopped doing it. My brother, he's beaten everyone in 3 different companies, all versus him. They're using computer algorithms, AI, and he fucking killed them because his social skills is perfect. My mother was she's the top salesperson when she used to work at a place called the Bay before they start trying to take her out mentally. And she mentally fucked up like a crazy because she got picked on so much. And she expressed her genes and stuff. She's fucked up. But she was a top closer. Basically, 3, out of the people in the family, we have some of the best closers around. So it's not about sales. It's not about pulling. It's about closing. You guys don't even understand. And I taught this to students. The guy from Elite 30, the Indian guy, was about to be fired. So I taught him twice over the phone. And he's making $6,000 a month Canadian before COVID-19. I taught the Middle Eastern students some skills, and he's closing. He learned from Elite 30 and some mindsets. He made 6 figures that year for the first time ever. I taught sales skills to the 18-year-old students besides copywriting and sales skills. He was not allowed to make any fucking money when he was in the United States. That would breach his contract because as a host student, he's not allowed to get a job. So I taught him how to close people. I can't tell you exactly what he sold. It's not drugs. Maybe he sold porn to people that could not get access to porn. I'm just saying I'm not responsible for that. But if he did something like that, I'm not saying whether or not he did it or not. But I'm saying he did whatever he did to survive. And for him, he made so much money in copywriting too. And also another student made 2.2 million fucking dollars when I taught him sales. So what I'm teaching you is that their 14 fucking flowchart is stupid as shit. It's really, really stupid. Fucking neighbors. Okay. Anyways, I think that's all I want to say for today. That's all I want to say for today. Fuck their flowcharts. They have 2 fucking late testimonials. They have no fucking open to close in field with sex in it. 0. The students have 0 open to sex. The only 2 Daygame late testimonials has like fucking, this whole screen is darkened out. Black. What the fuck? Is that their assistant or something saying that? I don't think so, but I can't speculate because there's no proof. I can only see it as fishy. You know? Allegedly. I'm just saying, why is it the only 2 testimonials of Daygame is the screen's all blacked out? Doesn't make any fucking sense. Of course, I'm not accusing them of anything. I'm just observing a fact. Think for your fucking selves. I got 238 times more in late post testimonials. They're talking about how their system is so optimized. Why is mine 238 times more? And they're talking about keeping them on the line. What fucking line are they talking about? You are retargeting them because they're off the fucking line in a short fucking Daygame interaction, and they say 10% this. It's like emailing a client that didn't close over the phone. I'm just saying, stop listening to the wrong people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about for Daygame. Okay. Tell me, where are we going? I need to know. Why don't you tell me first before? I'm scared to walk with you, know where to go. I acknowledge you're scared of walking me, telling me where to go. We're only going over there. You see that McDonald's? We're just going to walk that way. But don't worry, I'm going to show you something cool. Maybe I can cut you loose and let you just walk by yourself. But I am not a serial killer. I am a lover, not a fighter. Nothing. It's not like I'm going to fucking rape you in the corner and behind the dumpster here. Maybe I'm more afraid of you doing that to me. I'm just joking. But don't worry, nothing will happen to you. You are not my type. You are brunette. I like blondes. So, and I usually like women with blue eyes. Okay? And you are not my type. 1 second. Okay. And you just keep looping it. Hold on a second. I can't focus. Let's turn off that. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Don't tell me where we're going. Okay? Listen, I acknowledge that it looks like you don't know where you're going and you don't trust me that much. But this is what you say. I want nothing from you. I just want to get to know you better. I'm just going to show you somewhere cool. It's not like I'm going to go in the alleyway and try to rape you. Right? I'm more worried about you raping me. Maybe you have like a giant dick. I'm just joking. I'm just trying to be confident here. And women like that in the men. We're just walking to that McDonald's. And listen, anytime you feel afraid, you can leave at any time. That means you are not on a leash. You're not a puppy. You can leave at any time. You do not feel safe. But I guarantee you feel safe. Let me hold your hand. You're like a baby. Come on, let's walk this way, baby. So, like I said, I'm a friendly person. I'm Asian. Nothing bad would happen. Don't worry, we're in public anyways. And if you don't trust me, here's my ID. Just bring it to the cops, okay? You hold on to it in your pocket right here. Okay? You trust me now? Yeah, you do, right? Come on, let's walk. Come on. Come on. Okay. Yeah, nothing bad happened. I'm just saying. I'm just worried about you. Maybe you do something bad to me. Done. Done. Now you realize, holy shit, John's game can kick the living shit out of their game. It always could. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're so fucking primitive. Remember, it's good, their game is probably very good. And there's better objections dealing, and there's the best, the Johnny Elite version. Fucking student closed like 4 out of 5 deals and made 2.2 million. He only fucked it up because he didn't do it my way. But I helped him close. I taught him, he closed like a lawyer who was a fucking bloodthirsty psychopath. I knew exactly how to adapt to him, what kind of language to say, how to deal with objections, and he closed a deal. It's like, what the fuck? And he closed another deal. You know? The guy doesn't want to sell whatever he's selling. He closed the fucking deal. And he took the money and he didn't give me half of it as written in the contract. Objections. You were in bed. You pull your cock out and she seems scared a bit. All right. So that's exactly what I did in the infield when you look at my site. Remember when I pull two blondes and I whip out my dick? I said, when in doubt, whip it out, right? And she was like scared as hell. I was like, don't worry about it, right? I acknowledge that you're worried, but she's like, yeah, but she told me not to film it. So I said, okay, I put the phone away. She said, no, this is only for you because you're special. And I said, yeah, I know. I acknowledge that because I am special. And she starts sucking my dick. But for her, when in doubt, whip it out, right? And just say, I acknowledge that it's a very awkward moment, but you find me sexually attractive. I find you very sexually attractive too. Look at you. You made it so hard, like a diamond in the rain. It's your fault. You made it so hard. This is for you. So how can you make me so hard? I mean, what should you do about it? Maybe it needs a kiss, right? And she'll start sucking your dick. If she's not, you hold her hand. Here, let me just hold your hand. Don't worry. Nothing bad happened. You put on top of your dick, you start stroking. She'll automatically start stroking. Then you said, you know what? Since you're stroking it, why not give it a kiss, right? She's like, well, I never done this before. I'm not like this. I acknowledge you're not like this. I'm very special, and this is a special moment. And I'm attracted to you. You're attracted to me. And yeah, I'm harder than diamond in the rain, and you're probably wetter than a diamond in the rain. So, like I said, just give it a kiss. And if you want to stop doing that afterwards, it's fine with me. But just give it a kiss. I want to see if you're good at this. You say, I want to see if you're good at it. And then she'll start sucking because she wants to be good at it. Right? After she finishes sucking, she'll look at you. And then you can say, you take off your clothes and you start taking off her clothes. I tell her to take it off. I just want to see you got nice tits. That's all. I just want to see your nipples. Right? If it's good. Don't worry. You just keep inching it towards it. Right? There's no pressure. I want nothing from you. And she shows you. Okay? And you start taking off your pants. I'm just wondering, what do you think? You just keep going. You keep inching and it's just say, don't worry, we will not have sex. You keep disqualifying yourself. Don't worry, we're not going to have sex. Takes off the clothes again. Okay? Don't worry. We're just going to take off the clothes. Don't worry. We're not going to have sex. I'm just a tip. Just a tip. Just want to put in a tip. Just so I know what it feels like. Okay? Just a tip. If you want to continue, then you continue. And she does. You see what I mean? So that's how you deal with it. That's one way of doing it. So this is only for educational purposes, so I don't get sued for any of this shit. You have to be like calibrated. But I've done it in front of people. Look at the two blonde infields. Same day late. And YouTube strike down that fucking video. So it's on my site. I put it on my WordPress browser. So you can watch, the women, her sucking my dick and then fucking for 10 minutes while the phone's in my pocket. Luckily, I still capture all that. And then you can see me afterwards walking in the boot camp and the students were all waiting outside. This is the same objections I used. You see that? Same thing. Statements of empathy, looping it. And you can use a question to trip her. But stuff like that. So therefore, any objections can be dealt with. You can get anyone to say yes. And if you say, well, John, what you're teaching is unethical, or it has to be a win-win. But John, I've never heard of anyone talking about this about Daygame. Congratulations. Most people have no idea what the fuck I teach. Nobody. My game is so advanced that this is real skills that is in real objections dealing, that's in real sales. He goes on beyond fucking POA tactics. This is a skill. It takes practice. And I could do it automatically. I invented this. It is unstoppable. It's not about emotional objections. You got to clear the logical objections. You can escalate. The problem is that they cannot fucking deal with objections, so they use alcohol. They mix Pepsi and vodka until they get her pissed drunk or wine. So drunk, it's almost like super efficient dating or something. They get her so fucking drunk, and that's unethical. I don't teach shit like that. That's why you need the sexual connection to get the objections out. It's not about seeding the pole. Because if you're a tall white guy, you have value. That 18-year-old, I was seeding the pole, but she said yes to sex, and she said no afterwards because I didn't have the value or the height. It wasn't enough You need to see the sexuality and see the pull together. Then you can get the objections out and deal with it. They don't tell you this shit because they're not teaching the sexual connection. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. What's your opinion before I... Okay, so this guy was asking me a question. I'm glad you're here. I was waiting for you to be here. So he's asking me a question earlier. This is a student. This is not a student. This is like a guy, a random guy. Okay? Yesterday, he was asking me on a different video because he got a girlfriend using my opener, the adaptive opener. So for the other guy saying, oh, is it in the record? But he followed my fucking openers and he got a girlfriend out of it. But for this guy who got results just from the YouTube live, and it happens. This is why I don't like to post the infields completely without cutting it, because people like to copy my shit and automatically get laid, so I don't make any money during boot camps. And a student did just that. So he's not the only student that copied whatever I said here and got laid. There's many, many students that got laid just by the YouTube live. Many. So I'll read out the testimony. But the question is, since he got a new girlfriend, I was using my opener, the adaptive opener that I invented. What's your opinion before I do sex with my new girl, right? I approach her in Daygame and talk. Well, first of all, you have to think about HIV, okay? It's not really hard to... It's really, really hard to catch HIV. It's like 1 out of 300 that you'll catch it, the odds. But if you keep fucking her without a condom, eventually, after you fuck like 300 times, you'll probably catch it. So it's a very low probability that you will catch it during sex. So that's the first thing. Just have sex with her with a condom. Always use a condom. Even if women says that they're on a birth control, they always sometimes lie about it, and she gets pregnant and you are the father. It has happened to some of the naturals in the inner circle. And it happened to other people I know. They always try to have this pull-up method. So don't worry about catching HIV if you use a condom. If she's giving you a blowjob and stuff, it's very unlikely that you're going to catch HIV from a blowjob. You might catch herpes if she's having a breakout. Even if she's near a breakout, you can still catch herpes. So, but I would suggest that get a blowjob first, then put on a condom afterwards and have sex. You will not catch HIV that way. And as soon as you're finished sex, what you want to do is that you want to throw away the condom. You want to go in the shower with soap and water. You need to wash your junk. So that way, whatever HIV or any sort of STD there, it will be gone. And then in the future, you want to talk to her about the relationship, about the health. You will be bringing her to the clinic and you'll be talking about the health. They say it's very important that we talk about these things. But you got to be careful. Just because she's HIV negative doesn't mean you don't use condoms. Women will fucking cheat on you very easily. It's hypergamy or hypergamy. Women cheat all the fucking time. All the fucking time. Men cheat all the fucking time. It's unnatural not to cheat. So you still use the condom, but you said, let's take a blood test together and the STD test. So we want to make sure we're safe. I want to make sure you're safe too. I care about your health. And she'll be, oh, that's so thoughtful. So you drive her to the clinic. You show her your results. She shows you her results. You get not just an HIV test, but an STD test for other things. Even if they have to stick a Q-tip all the way up your penis. But it's better to know than not to know. And then once everything is safe, have sex with a condom for a while. If you know her for a longer time, she's taking the birth control, then maybe you can do it without the condom. But I would say it's kind of risky. You tell her if she cheats on you, that no matter what, she'll use a condom. Okay? Even if she cheats by accident. I know you can say, I don't want this to happen, but sometimes these things can happen. I'd rather it not. But if you do, always use a condom. And she'll be like, okay. But I'm just saying it's not going to happen. I'm not going to do that. But if that happens, then do that. So this will protect you. But it's better to use a condom than not, because I've seen people, like women, getting pregnant. And then you fucking have child support for 18 years. And they'll come after you hard with child support. Seriously. They'll take half of everything you fucking own. And sometimes you'd be crying in the corner wishing that, I don't want to be a fucking father. That's how it is. So I'm just telling you guys the truth. I know a lot of PUAs that have sex without condoms. They're mostly sociopaths. They don't give a fuck. They're always like that. So the sociopaths do not put on their masks fully. They don't wash their fucking hands and they don't wear condoms. And they'll tell stuff like, oh yeah, I never got fucking any diseases. And they Photoshop the results and they show the women. They'll do anything to win. Don't be like that. Get a blood test together. Have sex first now. Okay? Get that going. And then eventually you start to bring this up about the health. You got to be open about your relationship. You got to be open and talk about these things. That because you're in a relationship now, that you got to talk about health issues. So at first she'll be telling you, don't worry, I don't have anything. I also care about my health. Then you say, that's good. Then you have no problems if one day we both get like a blood test just to make sure. I want to make sure because I'm looking long term. You want to be husband material. I hope that kind of answers your question. You lead her on. When in doubt, I always tell them manipulate, and string her along. Pretend that you might be a future husband. And when you do something like that, then she'll be like, okay, fine, let's get the blood test. And you can dump her and dump like pump. Now, I'm not saying you should pump and dump, but I'm just saying it's on your own terms. Give women what they want. And there's your answer. That's why I couldn't answer over the comments because it's a long fucking answer. So wear a condom right now. Take a shower after every single time. Put on another condom if you continue. And you'll be fine. Blowjobs, hard to get HIV from a fucking blowjob. That's all I'm saying. Problem solved. So I think that's all I want to say for today. If I talk too long, people will start to tune out. They'll start to tune out. But I hope you learned something by expanding you. Even though you cannot do objections dealing like me, or you don't have the social skills flow drill like me, I will completely demolish you. You guys have no idea who you're talking to. John Elite. And this is hard to do. But it's automatic for me. And all this stuff. It's second nature. I'm not a natural, but it's almost exactly the same as all the other naturals out there. I think like a natural. I was not born a natural. So, but the naturals, they know what I'm talking about. When I say this stuff, they're like, I do exactly the same thing. How do you know all this, John? I don't know. From the universe. From the universe. Even my Pakistani mentor, before he used to tell me many years ago, before this was famous, before this funnel system, he used to tell me to use social media, Instagram, and all that shit. Now I was like, fuck that. I don't give a shit. I'm a day gamer. But he told me that many years ago before it was even made famous. Because the naturals, they know that shit. That's all I'm saying. They know that shit. So fuck this texting. Oh, it's a flow chart. When only 95% of the students that get laid for their goddamn flow chart without Instagram are all white. All white. So what does that tell you? Oh, they got like whatever lay counts. It doesn't count as Tinder. And second of all, if they're white and they gain that many, then white is right. In the one token nation that they claimed got this result. Big fucking deal. In 2 black students. Well, good for them. So they're a little bit higher SMV, but not as high as the white students. There's no social skills in Tinder. It's ordering from a food app. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, that's my opinion. I'm getting a headache. So that's all I want to teach you guys for today. And I know you guys, for some of you, your big objections right now is that you guys are thinking FOMO, fear of missing out. You think the new courses, you're going to miss out on some gold nuggets. Their courses never worked before. Never for COVID-19. Is it going to start suddenly working now with their mental filter? No. Because they deny their own SMV. They deny their own now they're talking more about it when they're forced to. But what I'm trying to say is go with what works. Get the elite bundle. Save up for it. I know a lot of you have less money because the economy is shit. COVID-19 everywhere. I get it. But this is not a fucking luxury item. This is a survival tool for ninjas. You're not here to be a samurai and go, oh, look at my big sword. Look at me, right? Look at how big my sword is, right? I have high SMV. You're here. I know it's not as easy being a ninja to learn these skills, these fucking flow drills and this objections deal. I know it's harder. But once you get it through that one core, like I said earlier, it becomes second nature. Maybe for this flow drill, it might take my students 4 months to master it, and I can do it in the first try. For the social skills, they already failed in 3 months. They all failed, 85%. I know it's harder. I'm not autistic, so I can do it. I run with a fucking 16-core processor. I can do like that many steps. everything perfect. So you are not like me. I get it. Okay. But you guys can try. If this is the only place that's consistently getting students late for lockdown 1, 2, and 3, why are you going anywhere else? Why don't you use your fucking Skypes if you get the bundle? And all these know-it-alls that bought the bundle, there's so many people that bought the bundle, even from Reddit. You motherfuckers are such know-it-alls that you're not even using your fucking Skypes. You're just marginalizing, and you're a fucking course junkie. Don't be a course junkie. Use the bundle that you bought. Fucking use your Skype. But John, I don't want to use the Skype because I'm not approaching as much COVID-19. Use your fucking Skype. Find what your mistakes are. Sacrifice the pawn in your chess game. Sacrifice that one move so you can knock out the rook. You dumb fucks. Use your Skypes, you fucking know-it-alls. That's the thing about these fucking know-it-alls, right? Like, they don't fucking use their Skypes because they just think they know everything. There's like, and when I tell people like add me on Skype, sometimes the students are like, "Why do I add you on Skype?" And they don't respond because they're fucking know-it-alls. They're course junkies. They don't have any self-esteem. They don't believe in themselves. If you use a fucking Skype, you're like talking to a fucking Elon Musk or Steve Jobs of Daygame, the top in the fucking world, and you guys are not using your fucking Skypes. What the fuck is wrong with you? You think you know better than me? You don't know shit. You think these other dating coaches know shit compared to me? They don't even know what the fuck I teach. You're like, I never taught anyone else's system. I was taught my own. Even when I was working for a different company. The reason why there was so much student results is because it was my fucking system. Whenever they use the Skypes, it was my fucking system. That's why it worked. You dumb fucks. I'm teaching you some of the stuff that even Gaming Elite, my first name, was using. I'm reteaching that to my students. My game was already fucking perfect. Then it became a little bit unperfect. Now I got just get rid of like 99% and keep 1%, maybe here and there, and get rid of everything. That's how I kept doing it over and over. Yeah, it was all my fucking game. I just got access to more students. But even when I had less students afterwards, as Johnny Elite, guess what happened? It's not even pose anymore. It's all lay in fields. Or, I mean, lay fucking testimonials. Lay. So even with less students, higher conversions. And now, lockdown 1, 2, and 3. Why are you going anywhere else? Are you such fucking know-it-alls? The know-it-alls know it none. Why? This is the only place. Fuck, like, you know, they're saying, well, if I they get results, I get results. Oh, fuck all that shit. Just look at the student results. That's what will happen to you. And for the Johnny Elite Access students who are unteachable cases, maybe it's time to work at one core and stop being a cunt. That's all I gotta say. God, fuck, 2.5 hours. I gotta get going. Yeah. Anyway, see you next time. I'll be on here more. And why would I be on YouTube Live more than making videos? This is 2.5 hours. But if I were to cut a video, it'll take me 6 or 7 hours to zoom it in and shit. So it's easier here. That's all I say. So I hope you guys learned a lot here. It's like, John, how come your game keeps having more and more depth to it? Because I'm not autistic. There's different layers. You guys don't know what you don't know. I'm not like fucking red pill people theorizing. I'm speaking from experience and split testing, not just field testing like they do, split testing. That's all I'm saying. It's just fucking like, unbelievable.